Good morning. Here we are. Team 10, currently in second place, is doing the Prusik climb, rappel tower into obstacle course for the Best Ranger Competition 2023. We are at the Warrior Training Center. This is located between Kelly Hill and Harmony Church on Fort Benning. This is where all of our National Guard Reserve soldiers can come for outstanding schools from Air Assault, Pathfinder, pre-Ranger school. That's before you go to Ranger school, you can go to pre-Ranger school to make sure that you're locked in and know what you're doing. And now what we're doing is the Prusik climb. After the Prusik climb, we're going to rappel down. After both partners are down on the ground, they're going to run 1/3 of the obstacles here at the Warrior Training Center. So last night, they just posted the standings for all 28 teams. Only the top 16 teams will advance today. So if you see your teams in 1st to 16th place, that means they will be going today. Normally they give preference to the first place team. They say, hey, first place team, where do you want to go? Do you want to go first? Do you want to go last? And today, the first time in 11 years that I've been around the competition, the first place team chose to go first. So because the first place team chose to go first, they're going to have the first and second place teams here right now. So we got Team 10, the second place team, they are going first. And then you're going to have Team 36, the first place team, they're going to go next. So this kind of goes to the point when you say winning matters. This is why winning matters, because when you are winning, you get the opportunity to choose when you go. So a reason you would want to go last is that way you get more rest time before you crush these events. Reason you want to go first is if you're feeling good, you have the anaerobic strength, the ability to do this, you're going to want to go right now just to put the pain in other teams. Team 32, one of the favorites out here that was in second place, dropped to 6th. Because they are older just in age, no matter who you are, your body is going to take a lot more time to recover. So a thought there is that Team 32, being one of the best shooting teams, is going to maybe be able to jump up and pass them. But if they give 32 a little bit less rest time and they force them to go now, is you put more pain on them and make it more difficult for them to gain. So that's what 36 is going for the strategy. 36 is going to try to go first this morning. That way they can put more pressure on 32. Of the 5 events we have today, 4 of them are all anaerobic endurance. So that plays right to Team 36, Team 10, other faster team strengths, because now they just have to go all out, sprint as fast as they can. Imagine having to sprint with 60 miles on your body already, and then still having to do about 5 more miles a day. These guys are hurting. They're going to have a limp on them. They're going to have soreness for days. So it's going to be... So first partner, once they make it to the top of the rappel, they're going to lock in, make sure that they're tied in well, and they're going to stand by for their second partner. As we speak, the time is currently administratively stopped. Administrative stop is just so that the other partner can tie in their rope and make sure they're locked in. Same thing down there. Just so you know while you're watching this, the primary stream, if you watch the other live stream, you're getting Blaine Reeves. He's doing a good job. Former winner of 1993's Best Ranger Competition. He's focusing on what it looks like over there on the Prusik side. I'm going to take the teams from when they rappel down all the way to the rest of the obstacle course. So right now, this morning, we have the top 2 teams that chose to go first. Team number 10 went up there first. Team 36 is going next. Something we talked about earlier is Team 32, somehow they dropped from 2nd to 6th place post the run, zip line, kayak event. It was likely just because it was weighted so heavily. They just posted standings where they are. Today, their best opportunity is going to be crushing curling range to jump up on points. Otherwise, this is going to play to a lot of strengths for Team 36, who's already in first place, because so many of the events are anaerobic endurance focused. We got a run on the obstacle course. We have a run on the helocast. We have a run on the combat water swim, and then we have a final buddy run. All right, time is restarted for the second partner of team number 10. Once again, we are going in first place to 16th place today. So if you know your team is in like 3rd or 4th place, they'll be the next ones up after 10 and 36 go. They give them about 10 minutes of admin time to hang out in the holding area to get their knots correct and good to go. And then they set them up on a rope and then they rock. All right, team 10 second partner is still moving up. We're going to move over to the opposite side. That way we can see them rappel down. We're going to be able to catch the rappel down. And then we're going to be able to catch them on their run all the way throughout the obstacle course. We'll make about 16 of these trips a day. When we come back, we'll probably actually already be on the back end time of Team 36's rappel. That's all right. When we get to the finish line, we'll be able to hear what their final time was. All right, so second partner for Team 10 has made it to the top. He did a great job getting all the way up there. Very consistent, never stopped. Stirrups didn't come undone. First partner for Team 10 stirrup came undone, which caused a little bit of an issue. If you take more than 30 seconds to get any forward progress up, it will stop you and receive a 10-minute penalty, which is devastating and basically crushes you. All right, first partner is locked up in the rappel. He's given the command go. Once given that command go, he can now rappel down the tower. Meanwhile, while that's occurring, Team 36 is setting up their stirrups down here, preparing to go. So the next partner comes, runs to the range of recycles, the support detail here. They drop their harness, they drop their gloves, they drop their helmet, and this is all occurring while the second partner is going. All right, same thing. Transition times here is pretty important. How quickly can you take off your gloves, your helmet, your harness, because you know you're going to win this event based off of this run. Clock is still going. They're still on the clock right now. Let's go, Ted. Come on. All right. So there are 3 lanes here at the Warrior Training Center's obstacle course. It actually replicates Derby Queen, minus being on the wood line. So they're going to run just 1/3 of the obstacles. So today they changed it up from last year. They did middle lane. This year they're far lane being the tower. After the tower, a couple other sweet things. With the tower, that makes it a little bit easier is that there's tape what to go up, what to go down, which makes it less confusing than the Derby Queen, because the Derby Queen has arrows. And the arrows, sometimes you do not see when you're competing and tired. It's very confusing. Skyscraper. So here they are at the skyscraper. Today for Team 10, they have to go up the yellow. So there's yellow tape that is on the skyscraper. They're always going up yellow. Very distinct for the crowd and the fans to see where the yellow is. Over at the Derby Queen, there are arrows, but they're painted on the inside of the wood. So oftentimes teams will miss where they're supposed to go. Here we go, Mort. Had a babe. Good job, Team 10. All right, so it's apparently just up the yellow, down the yellow. I guess the other team will be up the black, down the black. All right, it's the rolling logs. This is the kind of thing we need to hold your breath for. The logs do move. You are authorized to roll the logs to left or right, but this is definitely you want to take your time. This is the golf talk right here. They have 60 miles in their body, and this is what teams get hurt on this gosh darn balancing log. Take your time. 60 miles in your body, your feet are destroyed, you have new blisters, your hips, your knees are so hurting. You just got to get here to the end. The inverted rope is closed, so you do not have to do the inverted rope. The wire bridge is closed. You do not have to do the wire bridge. Tarzan is closed. You do not have to do it. So this really is turning into more of a running obstacle course than it is anything an obstacle course. Over the log. I'm going to do the reverse climb. Climb up the rope head first, and then you go down the other side head first. Hence, it's called the reverse climb. Now you have the hip hip. It's called the hip hip. Hip hip team 10. Here we go. Everybody from Germany is stoked. Let's go. Come on, 10. Keep hip hipping. There it is. Hip hip hooray. Apparently not. Apparently are going to do more obstacles. Makes sense now. Got it. So there's a yellow lane and then a black lane. So they're on the yellow lane. So that's all that is. That's what the yellow tape is for. This is the 6 vault. That's when you're allowed to use your hands for, right? Because you are vaulting. Using your 2 hands. Vault. 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 Great vaults. There we go. Go. Here we go, 10. Now they have the inverted climb wall. Goal here is hook your leg. If you hook your foot, your heel over, boom, you're good to go. Perfect technique. Like he's climbing the shelf. That's what I'm talking about. Great work, 10. Excellent technique. All right. Now they're going to have the low crawl. Low crawl, you just obviously go underneath the concertina wire, C wire. They're on their backs, the yellow side. So ranger instructor here is going to be a facilitator, just making sure you understand, hey, yep, you're on your backs, you're face first, whatever it is. And then just ensuring you're passing every obstacle. If you fail an obstacle, they add 3 minutes to your overall time. Each obstacle, you're allowed 2 attempts to conduct. I'm watching 36 as we're speaking right now. 36 has their second partner on the rappel. And so they're getting ready to rappel here soon. All right, we got the swing, stop, jump next. So literally what it is, you're going to swing, you're going to stop on the log, then you can jump. Oh, look at that swing. Look at that stop. Look at that jump. That's a good swing, stop, jump. So smart partner here, yep. Make sure you got a good solid rope. He's going to swing. There you go. Nice. Stop. He's going to jump. I don't know. Technique here. Hi, babe. Island hopper done. All right, so because they're doing more obstacles today, it definitely is more like a Derby Queen aspect. Here we go, 10. Tough one. Tough one is a big discriminator for a lot of people at air assault school or ranger school because they're not good rope climbers. So what I tell you people, get out there, Learn how to climb the rope with the lock method. Climb the gosh darn rope. Do a tough one. Notice they have two lanes, a yellow side and a black side. The yellow side for this is reserved to Team 10. 36 is reserved for the black line. That's why you're not seeing the second partner go. Ranger instructor is also not authorizing the first partner to go until he gets to the A-frame. So once partner gets over the A-frame, he's going to cargo net down. Moore, who's a competitor closer to us in the rope, once he gets over this tough one, he's going to go over the horizontal ladder, but on top of the horizontal ladder, up the A-frame. Once up the A-frame, goes over the A-frame and down, and then cargo nets down. So definitely a nice thing about this is you're not getting destroyed or having to worry about sliding down a rope. Instead, it's a very consistent cargo net. This is Team 10. They're at 15 minutes thus far for their overall time on the course. This includes their time on the Prusik and time on the rappel. Watching Team 36. Team 36 has just rappelled down. As they conducted the rappel down, looks like they're about to begin their obstacle course. So we'll know final times when we get to the end here. All right, so this is the Stairway to Heaven, or the confidence climb as they call it now. Confidence climb is how high can you get up there and then get over. So you go all the way up to the top minus the very top log, and then you come down. If one partner pushes on one side, that means the other partner can go too. All right, now the other partner can begin. Kevin Moore's going now. Hi, babe. Yeah. Get a little bit of a release there. Goal is to generally keep 3 points of contact, but that second to last log up is very difficult to do that. All right, the Weaver. This Weaver is tougher on your body because this Weaver is a wooden square block log. The Weaver at Ranger School is the exact same thing as a square block log. There are some Weavers throughout the United States Army that are a rounded log. Much easier, much better on your body in the sense of bruises and that. This one can be particularly unforgiving because those corners of the square logs can just absolutely crush you. So it's time to go nice and smooth, but also you want to not be a knucklehead to get over it. So what you do for the Weaver is you go under the black, over the non-taped, under the black, over the non-taped, and so on and so forth, all the way to the other side, not touching the mat. This is team number 10, representing Germany. Team 36 just made it to the skyscraper. We'll take Team 10 to the end of these obstacles, and then we're going to pass off to Team 36. That way we can get them all the way to their finish and see their time. They look like they went much faster on the Prusik time, so they're going to be able to. They're likely going to have a faster overall time in this obstacle course just based off of that. High step over. High step over. This one you cannot use your hands. So the hip and the high step over, no use of hands. It's a lot harder, right? So us, well, not us, but people who are shorter, vertically challenged, a little less time. It's hard because your hip level. If you have a higher hip level, like tall people do, then you're good. Team 10 is so impressive. Team 36 wasn't Faith coming into this, and they're just laying the hammer. Yeah. Team 10 is impressive. Watching a dual feed here of Team 10. Up there's Team 36. So we're going to catch up with them after they run. Yeah, Team 10 was definitely not on the radar. You're absolutely right. Nobody had them in this or anything. This is one of your that comes out of nowhere and just crushes things. So it's always exciting this regular competition. People sometimes just assume like, oh, these are the clear winners of the teams. But then you get an awesome set of sergeants or lieutenants or captains who just absolutely come out of nowhere and kill it. Especially coming from Germany where the temperature and climate is way different. teams like that from Alaska, Germany, and they have difficulty in this competition just from the climate change. Right? You can, for many, 80 degrees, 95% humidity, they don't tend to do well. This is Jamie Blanchard's favorite obstacle called the commando crawl. Last year, she was able to make a GIF and GIF. That was one of the funniest GIFs of all time because her wonderful husband smashed his groin on the commando crawl due to the very difficult slack breaking, almost like our friend here, Mr. Moore, just did. All right, now they're going to run 200 meters to the finish line. They're going to finish off on the race. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let Team 10 go, and I'm going to go to 36. Team 10 finishes over there. Go around, go behind that building. Yeah, beat him up there. Behind this first building. All right, here we go. Now we're going to jump in with 36. We're going to be able to get the 36 timeline when we get to their finish line. All right, 36, let's get the dirty name. They go right into the tunnel. The tunnel basically forces you to be a bear and bear crawl through. Bear crawl through all three tunnels. And now they're going to do the 6 vaults. 6 vaults, they're authorized to use their hands. So you're vaulting with your hands. Who won night orienteering? I have no clue. All I know is the standings just released. I can't tell you who, what, where, when. I can just tell you that the teams that are on the bubble, you can look at previous day stakes and tell who probably did better at night orienteering. And then if any team in the top 5 drops, let you know that they probably got beat at night orienteering. If any team made a dramatic increase up, that might be a good indicator of who won the night orienteering. They decided not to do the hook leg. They just bolted with their arms. So it shows you the amount of strength 36 still has. Now, instead of doing a technique thing, they're strengthening through it. It's unbelievable. All right, so sometimes this happens to disparity. One ranger instructor made the other team crawl on their backs. One ranger instructor is just making them go under the low crawl. Sometimes that happens. As a competitor, you don't know any different. You just go. Right? Whatever your facilitator tells you to do, you do. All right, swing, stop, jump. Swing, stop, jump. Reapproach. Push off. Good save. Be an athlete. All right. Island hopper. Island hopper is one of those obstacles you don't need to rush yourself. Just do it deliberately because it's something that you could legitimately miss on the island hopper. 1, embarrassing. 2, hard to recover from because you actually fall and hurt yourself, right? So be easy on the island hopper. All right, like Coach is saying right now, ease yourself in on the tough one. Yeah, where you have to pass through. Oh, just above the tape, All right, so also you can see here, this facilitator is allowing them to go before their partner goes to the A-frame. So as a competitor, do whatever your facilitator tells you. Team 36. Now one partner's of the A-frame down the net, and now one person on net at a time, he said. When you're doing you can do 2 on the net, okay? One thing here with the cargo net, if you're not a good cargo net climber, just put one of the ropes dead center of your body. Oh my gosh. Oof. That could have been bad, but thankfully his knee is good. Didn't look like he actually got hurt at all. Thank goodness for the green pads. Same thing there. They John Wicked it. Once they got through the John Wick aspect, they're good. All right, confidence climb. All right, now he's allowing his partner to go as soon as he gets over top. Nice smooth transition. Doc, a little bit nervous there, huh? Thinking knee? No, you felt good? Okay. I was thinking knee, but apparently it was fine.
Earlier.
So had the confidence. They had the confidence. Now we have the weaver. The weaver, they have to go underneath the tape portion, and they have to stay on their left side of the lane. Second partner cannot go until the first partner gets to the top, or never mind. Both partners are allowed to go at the same time. Look at this shot right here. While you get them weaver in, you get the UH-60 Blackhawks flying over top too. As if they're filming a movie right now for Team 36, giving them all the glamour shots. How's Team 5-6? Team 56, I believe, is in third or fourth place. You have to check the Airborne Ranger Training Brigade Facebook page, and then you'll be able to see where Team 56 is in the standings. They went first and second place. Teams went first. So because we have them going first, 56, I think, will be third and fourth for the second. Notice this time around for the weaver, they allow partners to go relatively near the same time. Coaches are communicating. They want you to have your head go first. Really comes down to that armpit, leg over top. Ooh, underneath this. Hot chow. I don't know about that, but okay. Sometimes, though, it's still there. It gets, you get used to it. It gets confusing, right? So, once again, notice there. A little bit different, but listen to what your facilitator tells you. Whatever they tell you to do, you do. High step over. No authorized use of your hands. It is just stepping over top. Notice here that letting the whistle go about the same time-ish. They're almost doing ninja kicks of each other. Like, yeah, I kick you. I kick you. No, I kick you. I kick you one more time. I step over. Oh, man. Team 36 officer's boot came completely untied. He's going to get talking to from his coach. Coach is like, you didn't double knot. You're knots on the boot. Are you serious? Come on, man. This is the low belly over. Team has struggled with the dirty name. It's called dirty name. Apparently people say bad words and they go over it. Low belly over. Move up lower than these. Next, easy balance. Ooh, untied boot. Take your time. Take your time. Okay, here we go. Commando crawl. This is the difficult one. When the slack comes out of that rope, it becomes very difficult to initial approach that commando crawl, especially when you're the second partner. Blanchard family's having PTSD here. Let's see if we get the same shot from last year. Notice one partner grabs the tape, slack all comes out. But he controlled the set nice and easy. Controlled it. Just got to touch the tape, perfect. Now we got the run. Come on! Push him, push him, push him. Come on. Come on, 36. Chase him down. Let's go. Time will not stop until the second partner gets to the finish line. Time. Time complete. So total after both teams went is a 28-19, but obviously that's including both teams, so I did not get 36 start time. 36 definitely was running faster than 10, so you can probably assume 36 beat out that event and likely just continue to build their lead. All right, we're going to push over to the next team. So today at the Warrior Training Center, we have our top teams going first. I've been around this competition since 2012. I've never seen a top team decide to go first, that speaks to what Team 36 is feeling and what they want to do. So generally they give honors to the first place team. Do you want to go first today or do you want to go last? Almost always, first place team goes last. They get more recovery, more rest time before they go into their final day 3 of 5 events or so. Today, 36, they feel good, they look good. They obviously have no nagging injuries. Their gait looks outstanding. They're moving just as fast as they were on day 2. So they say, you know what? We feel good. We want to go right now. Let's get it over with. Temperature's cooler. We had excellent cloud cover. Let's put the teams that are a little bit behind us and make them do the same event when it's very hot out, more humid, make it more difficult on them. Additionally, they're probably thinking about Team 32. Team 32 being a bit older of a team, enable Team 32 to have less recovery and then kind of pound them on events that are like this. 4 out of the 5 events today are anaerobic in nature, meaning they're going to require minimal oxygen during these sprinting events. As a result, that's going to be more difficult for 32 to catch them. So 36 is banking on dominating the 4 out of 5 anaerobic events. They might lose krilling, but because they've already built such a large lead from day 1 and day 2, it's going to be nearly impossible for any team to pass 36. And 36 looks outstanding. So 36 is probably going to be your clear and dominant winner for this year. After that, you have Team 10. Team 10 just competed and finished. We watched them. Noticed that Team 10 was just moving a little bit slower. So you can tell the difference as far as physically where each team is. Today, day 3, because there's only 16 teams that advance, it is very difficult to move places. So what you'll see is teams are kind of in their own little chunks where you can gain or lose. So first place is likely locked up. That's done, Team 36. They obviously still have to do the work, right? But because they're clearly maintaining it, they're going to be fine. Next is like 2nd through 4th is up for grabs. So the 2nd through 4th place teams will be fighting to beat one another. I would say 4th through 7th, 7th through 10th, 10th through 12th, and then 13th through 16th. So those are kind of your chunks or your groups where teams can actually move up and down in the standings. We have 2 live streams going. One is primarily focused on the Prusik and the rappel. And then you have my live stream over here. That's with us focusing on the actual obstacle course portion of this warrior training center. So to push 2 teams through this event, it took 28 minutes. And remember, these are your fastest teams of the day. So times will probably slow down throughout the competition, just based off of standings, right? Teams are probably hurting a little bit more in the back between 16 and 10, and it'll just get slower throughout the day. So I restarted the clock to kind of catch up to where we were here. Because today is a little bit slower and easier to move along, if you have any questions or chat comments, I'll try to get to them during this in-between time. Who and I are entering, not sure. Is this 49? Nope, sorry. We just had Team 10 go first, and then Team 36. Now we have the 4th place team going. I don't have my binoculars on. And then I think the 3rd place team going. So whatever those standings are, that's who's next. How's Team 56? You think 56 has a chance to win? 56 does not have a chance to win. No. 56, last night, what are they in, like 4th place right now? The best they could do is jump up to 3rd or 2nd. That's going to come down from winning these running events. And then krilling, because 56 is at the maneuver captain's career course, they haven't got much trigger time. Say they do very poorly on krilling, that could actually hurt them and keep them in that 4th place area. So Team 56 does not really have a chance to win. Great question, though. Won't that give them a better time if they're allowed to go together, but the first team wasn't? Is that fair? So this is a common theme that will just happen in any competition like this when you have multiple facilitators, multiple trainers in that. From a coach perspective, I would be like, hey, I would be bringing it up to the OIC, the officer in charge or non-commissioned officer in charge, saying, this is what I saw. Can we please standardize this? They definitely probably did talk about in rehearsals and that. Sometimes when you're the rain instructor, you're worrying about safety of the competitors, you're worrying about getting the water straight, and then also you have to manage running with them during the obstacle course. And sometimes mistakes like that happen where I ask somebody to go on their backs while some other instructor tells them to go on their legs. Sometimes I ask somebody to not go until one competitor's on the A-frame, but one facilitator would say they can go whenever. Yes, it gives an advantage to that. It happens, right? It's part of the competition. It has been a part of the competition since I've seen it since 2012. 3-time finisher here, 7-time coach. It will never change. And part of the reason that is you have new cadre leaders, so forth, every 2 years that are cycling in and out. And so sometimes when it's your first year as a facilitator, it's a little overwhelming and tough to do. By the second or third time you're helping out, it becomes a lot easier to understand the standards and it's easier to actually manage. But good question. I completely take your point well. Some rubbing on the old Private Johnson. Inappropriate for awareness. Your audio is spotty. Okay, that's good to know that the audio is spotty. I just took it off this system. I'll try to get it back on. What's the schedule today? The site has a couple of conflicting schedules. So conflicting as in time, conflicting as in what's going to happen. So here's what's going to happen. We're doing this first. This lane is the Warrior Training Center, Prusik, Rappel, obstacle course. That's definitely happening. Then once they get 2 teams, they shuttle them over to Curling Range. We're going to have our live stream going on Curling Range in the next 20 minutes whenever that first team starts, 10:36. Over at Curling Range, they're going to shoot 4 bays of fire using the M4 Glock 6 Hour Benelli shotgun. It's going to be one of the most fun lanes to watch, especially when Team 32 goes. You have to be streaming in during that. Then from there, they're going to take a helicopter over to Victory Pond where they're going to do a helocast. There is weather, specifically lightning that's supposed to hit around noon here. If that occurs, they'll actually cancel the birds. Instead, they'll probably do an insertion from the beach, or they'll completely cancel the helocast overall. After the helocast, they will then do the combat water survival assessment. Game changer this year is that they're not going to end the time for the CWSA when they've passed the finish line. Instead, when teams pass the finish line, they have to continue the run all the way up Babbitt HLZ, helicopter landing zone. So CWSA comes down to how fast you can run. Is the winner determined by who finishes the buddy run first? Welcome to the Best Ranger competition. No. So this year there are 34 distinct lanes. You could take first place on the very final buddy run, but you could actually take 16th place overall. Every individual lane has a weight to it. So let's say the very first mass start running, probably weighted 4. The swim run, swim weighted 2, so on and so forth. Those weights, when you are multiplied by your place, and that's how many points you get. So even though you might be in 16th place and you finish the very final buddy run in first place, you'll probably stay in 16th or 15th place. You're not going to gain everything just because of one event. This is an aggregate, accumulative event. You win by being consistently proficient physically, tactically, and technically. Physically, can you run, pick up heavy things, move long distances? Tactically, can you properly shoot, blow up stuff, kill bad guys? 3, technically, do you know how to use skills to save people's lives medically? Do you have the ability to call somebody on the radio to call for fire on the enemy? Do you know how to assemble your weapon systems that you just properly engage? So it's that overall best ranger is what we're looking for. Hence the competition, the Lieutenant General retired David E. Grange Jr. Best Ranger competition. Who puts all 3 of those aspects together in a soldier? Because if we just have a guy who's really, really good at running, but they can't shoot, they can't call for fire, they can't put on a tourniquet to save somebody's life, they're not the best ranger, right? They're not somebody that we can have in the battlefield that we can support. They might be an excellent runner that can run messages. That's great, but we want you to be able to do everything. And that's part of what Ranger School we tell people to go to, because you're going to learn all those different skills and more. You're going to learn about yourself as a leader and where you are and how you act when you are hungry, tired, have no hours of sleep, and have to continue on to the Ranger objective. Yeah, we got some more downtime, so just ask the questions. Jumping on for today, can we see the current standing somewhere? Which teams are currently in the lead? Well, Denise, if you go to Facebook, hopefully you have Facebook, go on Facebook and open up the Airborne and Ranger Training Brigade. When you look at the Airborne and Ranger Training Brigade, they actually just posted the standings after night orienteering. So you're going to see teams first place through 28th place. Only the top 16 teams advanced to today. So first through 16th of the teams you're looking for, those teams are in the competition today. With those 16 teams, they will be competing for day 3, 17 through 28 were dropped from the competition. Part of that is throughput because we got to get them through 5 different lanes today. For the teams that we're watching right now, we know that Team 36 is in first place, likely going to win the competition. Team 10 is in second place. They're running the events today First and second place team go first, third and fourth place team go second, and on for the day. So right now we're watching the third and fourth place teams go. Just watching from what I saw there from the Prusik. If you looked over the Prusik feed, I'm sure Blaine Reeves is talking about it. He won the competition in 1993. He's also a master Prusiker. He's doing the Prusik back in his day in 25 seconds to get to the top of the tower. I thought I was pretty good because I could do it in 35 seconds, but apparently Blaine's much faster than me. He made it very clear to me that he was, which he is probably. Probably a little bit of disappointment because both teams, it seems like, are struggling to get up the rope. A part of it is because when we competed, we allowed to have our knots with us. This year, they're tying their knots before they go, about 5 minutes before they go. So if you don't get the right lengths correct, then it's going to be that more difficult when you come to the actual rope climb, right? Because oftentimes stirrups will come undone, your hands will come undone, and it makes it difficult to get up the rope. Yeah, so just watching the competitor right now that's going, he's moving well. He's doing a good job of getting his hands and ankles up. The real goal here, when you talk to any coach, is you want to focus on keeping your head straight forward in a neutral position. You don't need to canter your head backwards. That's just going to tire you out and put a lot of strain in your neck. Instead, you are focusing on driving your shoulders to full extension and then stepping up with your leg. If you want to feel what this feels like, go to your local gym, YMCA, go to the stair step, not the stair stepper machine, but the Versa Climber. You guys ever seen the Versa Climber? And that's very similar to what you're doing. But instead of on a Versa Climber with a track, you are going up in the middle of a rope. Prusik Live is on the same YouTube page that you're on now. Just jump over to the other live feed. There's two going right now actively. One is the Prusik Rappel Tower, I think it's called. And then this one is the obstacle course. So you're going to see him Prusik Rappel, and then you just come back to me for the obstacle course portion. Yeah, which teams are currently in lead, though? Answer your question, 36 and 10. Huh. So we have our first team coming down with the rappel. So informative for us non-military folks. Hey, that's what we try to do here. Thanks for the insight. You are crushing the commentary. Yeah, as you guys all have questions, ask them and make it easier for you. This is the first year with live coverage this way. Thanks a lot. Well, I'll tell you what, the last 7 years as a coach, I've been live streaming it for us. If you happen to be attached to my team as I was coaching you, they got live streamed for days, and they got the skinny up in their face. You're just fortunate enough to have it this year with an outstanding work with the National Ranger Association, getting 3 former competitors, 1 former finisher, 1 former winner to make this all happen today. Here we go. Let's go, 4-9. Team 49 is moving well. They're going to be able to win this event by running fast. They can run fast. They're going to crush the obstacles. Obstacles aren't going to be the challenge today. Challenge is going to be the speed that they hit during these in-between run times. Obviously, Team 36 was very fast, but Team 10 had a bit of a hobble on them. Team 49 is looking good. Team 49 can jump up that placing just by picking it up on the run portion. So third and fourth place teams finished the Prusik/Rappel. Now they're starting this obstacle course. Their entire time is still timed. So they've been on the clock since they started the Prusik. It stopped administratively when the second partner got the Prusik. Smart coach right there. Focus on controlling your breathing, getting your heart rate down. It's called the rate of perceived exertion. Team 4-9er. This is called the Sky Scraper. So then the yellow lane, they have to go up the yellow. Going up yellow side, right? Yep, up yellow side, left side. So great coach right there, making it very clear, communicating the team going up the yellow side. This is an awesome technique that teams will use. A lot of lower core, helps save your arms. You just do an inverted Basically, you're doing ankles to the bar is what you're doing. So if you want to prep yourself, ankles to the bar to help out that individual bend. Now they're going to do it one more time. Then they go up to the top. Once they get up, they're just going to work their way. They're just going to work their way back down. Coach is being very helpful there, making sure they communicate. Just stay on the L side. Stay on the L side. All right, skyscraper about to be complete. Well done, 49. Great work. Here we go. Coach said, don't think mentally that makes sense. Physically, a little bit more difficult. All right, here we go. Notice the log moves quite a bit. When you get to your second log, you can actually roll it to one side to make it less mobile. Excellent job, first partner. Oh my gosh. Yeah, there you go. Good penguin. Nice. Well done. Okay, push to the side. Fuck, all right. Reset. Oh boy, here we go. Oh boy, oh my gosh. Oh, yeah! All right. Good recovery. All right. So I go to golf voice or that obstacle. Every other obstacle you can talk all you want here. That one, you want to be quiet for. Oh my gosh. So this is what I talked about before. We saw the first two teams go. They're moving much faster during these run portions. And you're going to see this throughout the day. We're going to progressively get slower as we do this. This event is going to be won by who does the obstacles clean, meaning no mistakes, and then who crushes the obstacles specifically without making any mistakes, right? So the winner is going to come from who runs the fastest. Coverage wise, it's nice that it's at the Warrior Training Center and not Darby Queen. Completely agree. Much better cell phone service between Harmony Church and Kelly Hill here, making it easier to follow along. Usually we get pretty spotty service. I like the challenge with the doughboy and the river. It's good. All right. Hip hip. So for the hip hip, they're just walking over it. And when they finish this obstacle, they have to say hip hip hooray. It's a mandatory rule this year. Let's see if they do it properly. Let's see, hip hip hooray. Let's see. Here we go. Hip hip hooray. Is it coming through? I'm just kidding. No, it's hip hip hooray. It is hip hip. Well done. Great job, 49er. Well done. Team 49, moving nice and steady on the obstacle course. The team that Prusik and Rappel behind them has just made it to the Tarzan. So they're actually catching on them, the team behind them. So we can definitely say the team behind them is moving a little bit faster. So we're going to let 4-9 go here, and then we're going to jump back over to catch up with the team on this end of it. Oh boy, it's Team 56. Yeah, Team 56 is moving. Oh my goodness. Team 56, I'd say, is moving, if not the same pace at 36, they're moving faster than 56. They're moving faster than 36 or about the same pace. They are moving fast. Wow. They're crushing this right now. The reverse climb, you go up head first You go down the other side head first.
Go, Jimmy. Don't touch the ground and flip. Nice.
Well done. Yep, 2-time hip hip. This is where we do our hip hip array action.
Keep going, keep going.
That's an outstanding hip hip 5-6. Love it. Love to see it. Hip hip hooray it. Hip hip hooray. There we go, baby. This individual event, once again, the Warrior Training Center. You do rappel, you do Prusik, you do rappel, you do an obstacle course. The winner comes from this event. Who's going to run the fastest whilst doing the obstacles perfectly each individual event? Good partner right there. Way to tell him to watch his head for the tunnel climb, for the tunnel to go through. You're bear crawling all the way through it. All right, this is 6 vault. 6 vaults are actually allowed to use your hands, unlike the hip hip or the high hip over. Here we go, Big Jim. Notice they're doing a great job of immediately thinking and attacking the next obstacle. They're not taking that second to stop. They are moving. They might actually catch up the team directly in front of them, even though they started behind them. That's great for a competitive team like 56 because they have a target right now. They need to push themselves. Let's see, is it heel hook or is it mountain over? Oh, he mountains over. So just like 36, team 36 and 56, the exact same technique. They vault over top with their strength, opposed to technique in 1910 with their hip. All right, here we go. We have our low crawl. One thing with low crawl that's just kind of tough is that you take in the sand inside of your wrist. It's just like one of those icky feelings. Even during this competition, you're actually trying to minimize the amount of sand inside of your sleeves. I'll tell you, it's like one of those things. I don't know what it is. It's like having wet socks or wet elbows or wet knees. Like nobody likes it. Oh, see, he already shook it off. He got all the sand out. He's already trying to get rid of that. He's like, ugh, get the sand out. So yeah, they're going fast, but really they're like, ugh, get the sand out. Do the same thing. See, he shook out the sand. All right. The swing, jump, stop. So you swing it, you jump, you stop, you go. That is it. They had the experience from last year, although it's crazy to see him from Intricacy. I'll tell you, me and Mark Goddard competed for the Maneuver Captain's Career Course. I had 2 years of finishing experience. That was helpful, but it was very difficult to train while you're at the Maneuver Captain's Career Course because you're not really around any company, soldiers. You don't have many weapon systems, range time to actually go through and train for this. So you got to grind home on all the physical events, and then hopefully you can work yourself through. Well done on the island hopper. Looking like a frog. Oh my gosh. All right. Right into the tough one. Tough one is a tough one. This is often a obstacle that teams, if you're a soldier who's going into the military, they'll have you do the air assault course. Air assault course requires you to be able to pass this obstacle because it shows that you have the muscular strength to conduct a rope climb. So you want to become an expert at climbing ropes. If you can't climb a rope, you're not going to be able to pass this obstacle. And I'm going to attend certain obstacle courses or schools like air assault school, ranger school. This is how you become an expert. Climbing a rope. Go learn how to do a lock climb. What team is in the lead? So team 36 is currently in first place. As far as this individual event, watching it, 56, I think, is third overall, but they are absolutely smashing it. So they might have an opportunity here to jump up to second to pass Team 10. Team 10 was definitely slower, more deliberate, and they were not moving as fast. Team 56, appearing, just watching and kind of based off my own rate of perceived exertion, I'm moving a lot faster with 56, similar to what we did with 36. And 56 is fortunate right now because they actually have a team to catch in front of them. Team 46, 49, over on the confidence climb. So as a competitor, that puts you in the mindset of, oh, we have somebody to see, we have somebody to go for, right? 36 did not have that, nor did 10. So it just shows you how much better 56 probably did on the person climb rappel and how they're doing right now on the obstacle course. Speaks to that. 56 bread and butter because they are at the maneuver captain's career course where they're focused on learning how to be a company commander, to go through tactical decision games. Oh my gosh, you went over all the way at the top. That's a new one. I have not seen that in a hot minute. Generally, you're only supposed to go over the log that's second to last, but it's okay. Happens to the best of us. Also speaks to their, oh my gosh. If they had a coach here, the coach would tell them, no, you only have to go over the second to last one. Okay, good. Facilitator corrected and said, no, you only need to go over that one. You could see the competitor from 56 like, hold on, are we sure? All right, technically, you're supposed to have 3 points of contact, but on the third, we're good. All right, we got the weaver. Weaver here is a wooden log weaver. This log weaver, though, is a square rectangle shape, so much more punishing to your body. You can't necessarily go through this very quickly. You just have to be more deliberate about hooking your leg, hooking your armpit. Some weavers in the Army are a log, like an actual cylindrical log, way nicer on your body, easier to weave through it, hence being called the weaver, so you can train out a lot faster. So just something you need to know when you train on this weaver. Most of the obstacles here at the Derby Queen and at the Warrior Training Center, it is a squared type weaver. So definitely more difficult on your body. They're moving perfectly through, very deliberate, over and under the actual tape marker point. So yeah, what team is in the lead? 36 overall is winning. Standings are always published on the Airborne Ranger Training Brigade. I will say though, as younger Moore's brother is saying, they definitely are gaining on 36, especially when they get in between the moving time. Just like Team 36, they're going head first down the logs. Team 56 here for the maneuver career course. One competitor competed last year for Ranger Regiment, finishing in 6th place. That was his first year. So second year, you almost always do better, right? And then the other competitor who did not compete, he was an alternate the entire year. So he got the entire train up in him, and now he's doing it his first time, but really second time going through an entire training. So very confident in their abilities. They're going to be a team that's going to be able to jump up to second place, to third place, based off their performances here on these physically demanding events. This is the high step over, no use of hands. You can put your hands on your head, you can keep your hands up. Taller individuals, much easier for us as our hip level is at a higher point. Shorter individuals, I'm sorry for you. You can be on the shuttle bus a little bit. Also a great point when you start cramping. Okay, it's good to know about the cramping action.
Go, last one. Throw yourself over.
Maneuver Captain's Career Course, representing the Maneuver Center of Excellence, Team 56. No belly over. Nice, look at that. See, that's a great partner right there. He knew his weakness. Look at that. He understands my weakness is this event. Help me out. That's what you need to be. You need to be somebody who's humble, has the humility to understand, hey, I am not in control with this. Help me out. You can't be this hard individual who thinks they can do everything by themselves. Understand your strengths and your weaknesses. This is their last run for one obstacle, the commando crawl, before the final run of that. Once again, I call it the Blanchard PTSD. Last year, we got one of the best gifts/gifs of the competition from this event. He came down on the commando crawl, all the slack came out of the rope, and his groin was destroyed. And I think there was like a Jingle Bell song made to it or something. When I'm having a sad day, if that ever happens, I just watch this GIF over and over, and it brings me so much laughter and joy to watch it. Perfect. Here we go. Burn it down now. You got to burn it down. Here we go. So you have teams like this. Generally, you'll have one person who is particularly fast than the other partner. If you are, you got to push. Push each other. Come on. You have to be comfortable with allowing one of your partners, whoever the faster one is, to physically push you behind your back. Because these seconds towards the top teams are going to be huge. There's going to be about 15 to 10 seconds between teams. And if it comes down to going faster because you're being pushed, yeah, you're going to take the team pushing you. 100%. Push each other physically. Let's go. You're going a little bit fast in 3-6. Come on. Every point matters here. There it is. There it is. That's what we need to see. That's what we need to see. All the way through. All the way through. Time. Do it. Do it on the live stream. Come on. Ah. Decided not to. He thought about it. He thought about releasing it all. Oh. Yes. Yes, look at that. Love it. Love it. Purge it out. All right, so they're talking about competitor stuff. So throughout the competition, you're going to be authorized opportunities. At any event, you can say, hey, Ranger instructor, I have a feeling that something was not my fault or not anybody. It was just a weird event that was specific to whatever. And what they're asking for is a reclama. A reclama is saying, hey, I believe that there was just an unfairness portion here, and I would like to reclama it. And then the ranger, non-commissioned officer in charge, will talk to the leaders, determine whether or not they'll honor the reclama. What they asked for reclama for was the Prusa climb. Because I'm not really streaming that, you'd have to jump over Blaine Reed to see what they're reclaiming. I'm assuming it's the dynamic ropes, or maybe the amount of time to use the ropes. I have no idea. At the end of the day, NCICs, OICs will either authorize it or they won't. A great example of a very good reclama last year during the high frequency radio technique when they're doing the antennas. One of the teams did everything exactly right. They got no radio call, so they got 0 points for the event. They reclaimed it. Officer in charge listened to him, said, what do you mean? How can you reclaim it? They explained we did all the techniques that we were trained on. And then in the end, they decided that they would authorize the reclama. They gave them a new radio. They redid the event, and immediately they got the signal. And so the reclama ended up working out to their advantage. Now, you're not going to be able to reclama things like, hey, I didn't run fast enough, right? That's on you. But you might be able to reclama things that are technical to equipment, specifically radios, or just maybe equipment that you're issued that's breaking. So that's what Team 56 was trying to reclaim right there. I don't know how that'll work out or how you would even reassess it. I mean, I guess the only way I would is say, okay, well, let's get you new ropes, and then you have to redo that entire event again. Not worth it unless you get a 10-minute penalty on the Prusik. Today, for the Prusik, if you are stuck for 30 seconds and you have not been able to make any kind of vertical ascension, then you are stopped. They belay you up. You have 10 minutes added to your overall time. So if that's what happened to him, I don't know, then that would be a reason I would want to reclaim the two. At a minimum, I'd be like, hey, give me a shot in the dark here. Let me reclaim this. Prusik was not done last year at the Warrior Training Center. Instead, it was done during day stakes. I think Prusik on day 3 is fairly difficult because your body is absolutely gassed. And what makes this even more challenging is they're doing the Prusik knots while they wait in the holding area. Sometimes in years past, they authorize you to do it during competitor week or beforehand. When I competed in the old guard, we finished in team. We were excellent at the Prusik. We brought our own Prusik knots. We carried in the entire competition. When it came to the Prusik event, we absolutely crushed it because we used our same knots that we've been training on for 4 months. You knew how to tie it up. And so there was no question, right? Obviously, though, I think the cool part about this is, hey, you're good at Prusiking. Well, can you do it with knots when you time only about 5 minutes beforehand? So that goes to the technique aspect. Can you set yourself up and rig yourself up now? All right, so we're going to the next team. Team 42. What team is in the leader? Vim and hip flexors, boy. Yeah, 4-2. Let's go, Whitney. Come on. This is one on the run. One on the run. Let's go, boys. Good pace right now. This is tough as a competitor because you have no idea how the teams that ahead of you, but you can assume when you have the first, second, third, fourth place teams ahead of you, especially 36 and 5-6, They're probably burning it down when it comes to the run portion. Obstacle course is relatively easy today. No obstacle is out of control difficult. The most finesse one I'd say is the easy balancer or the log balancer. Team 42, a fan favorite and home field advantage favorite, representing the Airborne Ranger Training Brigade. Sergeant First Class Whitney competed last year and finished. This is what I tell people when you compete in this competition. You get hungry and you're going to come back again. They used to allow you to compete unlimited amount of times as long as your unit allow you to do it as well. They recently changed it. You can only compete a total of 3 times in your career. So yours truly is capped out at 3. There are several other competitors who are capped out at 3 as well. All right, here we go. The Sky Scraper. Different from the Derby Queen one. Derby Queen one has arrows. Very confusing. So many teams get penalties because you go up the wrong arrows. This year, yellow and black tape. Whitney and his team have been assigned the black tape lane. So they just have to go up wherever the heck the black tape is. So definitely an easier skyscraper lane than pass. Oh, I like that. Whitney used it like a monkey, like a squirrel up there. He used a log. There we go, Whitney. Yep, get up that one. Get up there, boys. Yep, once you get up, go back down. All right. Out of babe. Out of kid. There we go, 4-2. Follow your black. Follow your black. Follow your black. There we go. Good trigger right there. Yep. You got your black. You're on the black side. Okay. Hey, lock it in. This is where we go. Golf commentary again. The balancing log can be destruction of morale. You gotta take your time. There, when you get to that second section, what I recommend to teams is you can actually roll the log to one side or the other to help reduce the amount of logging that it rolls, which enables you to push it. I call this like the golf team. See, he's standing in line with the competitor. Sometimes that can throw you off. Try to stay out of the way here. Get quiet. Go to golf mode. Oh man, they're both bouncing logs. Oh man, bring my heart rate up every single time I watch this event. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, stop talking to me. I'm going to bounce logs. Coach, stop it. Coach, stop talking to me. Okay, coach, realized it. Coach, stop talking to him. All right, now we turn back on. Let's go. Inverted rope is closed today. The wire bridge is closed today. Tarzan is closed today. I assume those are closed just for throughput action. This course has gone a lot faster when we have teams being able to skip these obstacles. All right. The belly buster. Look at that. Busted his belly. All right, now we're going to have the reverse climb. Head first up, head first down. Love it. Love to see it. Good work, 4-2. Good hip hip. What a hip hip right there. That's one of the best hip hips we've seen all day. That's what I'm talking about. Love it. That a boy. Good work. Make sure you say it hip hip hooray at the end so you get those extra points. Always getting those points. Hip hip hooray. Here we go, 4-2. So last year for this event, they just did this middle lane. This year they're doing the far lane without a couple obstacles, the closer lane without a couple obstacles, and then all the middle lane. So definitely a harder. Well, that's a coach right there. See, Coach Robles, who's competed, finished 6 times, won it once. As a coach, he's getting the answer. He's talking to the facilitator, building relationships, being very clear, running the grass to go faster is what he as a coach is saying. So that's the coach. Like, that's something you're doing. You're a mental check. You got to train this too during the competition. You're talking to your competitors. Hey, here's what you should be doing. Figure out what kind of tone of voice they appreciate you talking to. Some people don't like getting yelled at, right? So coach here recognizes that, do we have to run the gravel? Facilitator said, no, you don't. You just have to move between the obstacles. Well, then, yeah, it makes way more sense to run on the grass than it does on the gravel. Obviously, the grass, you're moving much faster. That gravel, when I run in it, it's like quicksand. You feel like you're getting pushed over. All gas, no brakes. There it is, 4-2. Heel hook. Zach's got the perfect heel hook method. I'm a huge fan of the technique. There's no reason to use additional muscles and to crush yourself. So again, a little shifty between fans. That's what they're asking is, fans watching, why are they running on the grass? Coach did ask. Coach was told they are authorized to. And so now they're doing what the facilitator offers. Get under. Love it. Swing, stop, jump. Here we go, boys. Thinking outside the box. Still moving between point A and B. You might be moving between point A and B a different way, but you're not decreasing the distance, which I think is the spirit of the competition. What you should be worried about is people who are cutting full 100 meters off. They're still moving the exact same distance. They're just moving it on grass, much more stable platform to run on, easier to move rather than the quicksand. Now, what I will tell you, if you're team 36 or team 56 watching, your teams were moving just much faster, even though they were moving through the gravel, quicksand gravel. Them moving on the grass will not enable them to beat you or even catch you up on this event just based off the speed you're running overall. All right, same plug. Any soldier who wants to do any school in the United States Army, learn how to climb a gosh darn rope. There's different techniques. There's the all-arm technique. Do not do the all-arm technique. All-arm technique is not going to work. It's not safe. There's the lock technique. This is the lock that we're watching right here. That is a wonderful technique. It enables to put all the weight on your legs and minimal time of lifting with your arms. The lock technique is the approved method for most anybody. If you're not comfortable with the rope and you want to go more steady, a grapevine's next. It's a lot slower, but it is a smooth transition. And then there's the pinch technique where you're pinching the rope between your feet. I'm not a fan of that because you're putting a lot more weight on your arms. When you're going up a 60 or 90 foot rope, it becomes more difficult, right? Cargo net. There is a technique of the cargo net. Dissect your body with the cargo net. Pretend you're walking up one rope, and now you're just using it like a normal ladder, right? Literally looks like a ladder. All right, so let's just watch this as I walk through this. Every foot I walk through, I'm having trouble to get my foot out. It's very similar to quicksand. So with them running on the grass here, on the wood panel, that ensures you're going to have a more stable platform and it'll be easier to move out. But as mentioned before, Team 5636 are just moving overall much faster on the runs in between the obstacle course, which is definitely what's winning the teams. Again, the team went all the way over the top. So almost anywhere you go for a confidence climb in the Army, you do not have to go over the top. You have to go over the second to last obstacle. You don't have to go to the very, very top. Just like he did there. So it happens. If you read the actual Army regulation and publication that goes over every one of these obstacles that you're standing across the Army, they make it very clear, the rules. And so does Ranger School, and they all abide by them. They don't add additional layers to it. So just follow the instructions per the publication, the Army regulation, and that's how you should be training for any kind of event like this. Thinking task condition standards. You're right. Task condition standards is very important. That's where it comes from. If you go to the publication, or the Army regulation, there is a task condition standards for every one of these standardized obstacles, the Weaver, confidence climb, so forth. If you know that to the T, you don't have to worry about asking a grader or something as you go. Instead, you just do it. And then if the grader needs you to correct it, they'll tell you to correct it while you're going. And then just like in Ranger School, maybe when the conditions change, you listen to the condition that just was changed to you. Just like in war, we're not going to be able to tell us what's going to happen. You're going to have to adapt to it and do it, execute. All part of the competition. Yeah, grass and gravel is. So Darby Queen over in Camp Darby, there is no grass gravel thing, right? Like it is purely just the dirt. So you don't have to think about that kind of stuff. Really, what you're thinking about is doing it perfectly clean, because the two obstacles people are going to fail the Darby Queen are the um, Tarzan, the dirty name, balancing logs, inverted rope. Those are teams who are learning at penalties. So Darby Queen, the answer is just go through the obstacles without any penalties. That's it. Here today it is who's going to run the fastest. So this is the high step over. Generally, the pan does say, I believe, no hands on this one. Once again, what does the facilitator do? Hashtag noted. Not all heroes wear camo. They wear armbands. That's 1811. That's a good one. I'm going to steal that in the future. Hi, babe. Whereas the Warrior Training Center, yeah, the difference of running on grass and the wood planks over the gravel is something that is well within the rules, within the spirit of the rule. You're not shortening the distance. You're going the exact same travel distance. You're just using the conditions to your advantage. I think per the DA PAM, they're not authorized to use hands for the hip or for the high step over. The 6 vaults, you are authorized, right? Because you're vaulting your hands over top. Right here, can we get the James Blanchard GIF? Slack's gonna come out of the rope. Slack's gonna come out of the rope. Oh, he didn't fall. Dang it. Not fall, but, hurt the groin. Jamie Blanchard last year. Sad panda. Just got to touch the black rope. Boom, got it. All right, let's go 4-2. Got to burn it down now. So 2 things here. If you are the slower competitor and you win first, it's good to get way ahead of your partner, because likely your faster partner will catch up to you. So if this is their technique, that's great. If you are the faster partner and you win first, you should be thinking about, our time does not stop until the second partner crosses the line. So the third year I competed, Mark Gaudet is one of the guys that runs like a sub 5-minute mile consistently. I'm like a 6-minute kind of guy. I think I'm fast until I run against him. He would always allow me to go first to get ahead. He would always then catch up to me. He would always then push me physically to ensure we got every second we possibly could on events like this. So it's something you got to train as partners. You got to do obstacle courses like this together. 1, do it against each other, see who's faster. 2, do it with each other. And then whoever that partner is that's just fresher, allow them to physically push you. Robert Killian, like a 6-time competitor, 1-time winner as well. This is something he would always do in every event that was like this, whether it was obstacles, final buddy run. He would get behind his partners, like Aaron Freeline, and he would physically push them. Now, Eric may not like it, but guess what? They probably trained it. And when they realize it helps you take top 3 and eventually win the competition, yeah, you like that technique. That's okay. Yeah, 4-2. There we go. Good work. Next event, boys. Time to shoot. So 42 there. You're going to see most teams today, they're not going to mess up any of the obstacles. It really is just going to come down to the time running the actual event. Like running between the obstacles, that's where you win this event. How fast can you run? That's specifically here to the Warrior Training Center. At the Darby Queen down at Camp Darby, the answer there is 1, every obstacle has to be perfect. You want no obstacle errors. So, dirty name, Tarzan, inverted rope, Even the kind of the skyscraper, because the skyscraper, this one is much easier over here, but the one at Derby is very confusing because they're arrows. You want to do those obstacles clean. If you can do them perfectly clean, now you're already in the top 5, because most teams will have tons of errors and mistakes, and every mistake you get or every fault on an obstacle, that's 2 to 5 minutes that's going to be added to your overall time, right? So if I take my time to go and do it, we're good to go. All right, here we go. Fan favorite, everybody's favorite team, I'd say. I have a bias as well. Team 32. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This means I didn't check the standings, but I assume Team 32 is in 5th place overall. Look at the pace difference here, right? As we go down in teams, the pace is going to be dramatically different. Part of Team 32 here is like something working against them is father time. When you are an older team, your body needs more time to recover. You need more time to rest before you can really go all out. This last day, 4 to 5 events are heavy endurance and anaerobic endurance events, which these boys can move, right? They can do it. But when you have less recovery time, it's going to make it more difficult. So you're going to see just like teams like this. Okay, 32 showings in 6th place, right? So they're in 6th place. Notice here, we're stepping it out, right? We're moving, we're walking, but those top 4 teams are running. Team 32's chance today to really take over the competition is by maintaining where they are on these endurance events and then crushing curling range, which we know they're going to do. But what likely is happening here is they're actually probably going to lose some placing, maybe 1 or 2 places, just by going deliberately consistent on this one, not going fast. And because they're just kind of being deliberate over here, they're not going to really gain on any points on Team 36 or 56. And this is why I say pretty confident like 36 probably won this competition, whereas 56, 10, so forth are going to be able to keep up their 2nd and 3rd placing because they're going to be moving at a rate that is just much faster than teams that are lower, or even teams that are towards the top, like this Team 32. So Team 32's only chance to really gain on points is curling range. One thing they used to do in the past that would benefit a team like Team 32 is they used to authorize curling range. They would say curling range has a max of 200 points. However many points you shot and you got, they would give it to you. They'd say, hey, here's 200 points, you earned it. Whereas a team like mine, out of those 200 points, we would shoot and we'd hit 100 points. So now you get a team like 32. They're getting 100 additional points over my team. They've recently changed it in the last 4 years. Curling range has turned into a placing. So even when Team 32 dominates and they take 1st place, they're only going to gain about 7 points on the 2nd place team, right? So it's very difficult to jump forward when you're in that position. Additionally, something they used to do, this is back in the day of the Killian days, they used to do a score-O in the land navigation. So they would have 50 points out in land navigation. Each point had a different evaluation. So if 1 point, okay, range instructor made the correction here, it says no hands on the high step over. Just like we talked about earlier, there was a comment about that. The instructor just inserted his down minutes and said, no, you cannot use your hands on the step over. Back to the point. So there used to be a score-O for land navigation. The score-O meaning there were 50 points out there. Each point had a different point evaluation. And whoever got, whatever points you got, they added it to your overall score. So teams like 32 who know how to foot march through the dark in the dark place, they would get, 50 times 100 points. So whatever that math leads to, 5,000 points added to their overall time. Instead, now your orienteering is just by placing. So even though you might have moved 20 miles, the 2nd place team only moved 15 miles. You only take 1st place, you only gain about 5 points, 7 points in your team in front of you. 32's fan support is insanity. Like that. So 32 physically in person, their ability to draw a crowd, and then digitally in the digital space, just another level. Hence why I say Team 32 is everybody's fan favorite, to include yours truly. I'm giving you my bias, all right? Some people pretend they don't have a bias. I have a bias. Most of us have bias. Team 32 is going to be our favorite. You got some old dogs out here, Mass Sergeant, Sergeant Majors, absolutely crushing the field and everything, and they're still grinding. So back to the competitive side, recognize we are moving at a more deliberate, just moving pace, whereas other teams are always running and like running fast. 36 and 56 were running fast. I think 56 probably ended up winning this event based off of how fast they were running. So you can go to cross rope, however, feet just can't touch the pebbles. We saw Team 42, the first partner, actually pretty cool. They end up using both ropes to help drive them forward. I really like that technique. Something I'll think about in the future to do. You always pick up on something in this competition every dang year, I tell you. Oh, with that tape, baby. Here we go. Yeah. So now we're in a constant good flow at this event. We have the fifth and sixth place team. So the sixth place team here finishing up this event. And I can already see the seventh and eighth starting off on their event. That a babe. Let's go, boys. How old is Team 32? I think they're 65 and 70 years old. No, I'm kidding. I think, I don't know. The average age of the Rangers in this competition are age 29. I believe they are 38 and 42. As a middle 30 individual myself, I can tell you the recovery aspect is way harder. Here we go, Hawaii. Come on, 2-5. So, I mean, you can already see Team 25. We'll get back to them, but they are moving at a much faster and deliberate clip. That's going to hurt Team 32 because you're going to have teams 25, 26 out of 25th Infantry Division. They're going to be able to catch up on teams like 32 just based off this movement. So Team 32 is going to continue all the way through the finish line. Team 32's family support, cheering them all the way through the finish line. I'm going to jump back over to Hawaii to Team 25. They are flying. And then we'll go back to, you'll see the pace change here very quickly when they're moving. Hey, catch your brothers. That's your goal right now. You're racing your brothers right there. 25, 26, here we go. You see them, get in front of them. Notice they're also running on the quicksand of gravel. Quicksand of gravel is lowering teams down. All right, so we're going to jump over to 25, and then we'll get 26 as well. So Team 25 and 26, both from the 25th Infantry Division. I had the honor and opportunity to finish with them in 2012. Great training event as far as program that they have there in Hawaii. The weather's second to none, and you're out hitting the ranges nonstop, whether it's a tropic lightning school, doing obstacle courses, so forth like this. Hawaii is a great place to train and compete in best ranger competition. We've had a couple of rough years of not having finishers, but this year they're going to have two teams. Right now they're in 7th and 8th place respectively. What you're going to see though is because there are more endurance events and they're moving fast right now, this is going to give them opportunities to push forward. Curling range, they might not be the best, so they might lose some points there, but these running events is where they're going to get all their money.
Get a little bit lower here, Griff. It gets a little bit lower. Nice, you're through.
2-5, representing 25th. It's like they did on purpose. Team 25, 25th. Love it. Swing, stop, jump. So you're going to swing, you're going to stop, you're going to jump. You're going to swing, you're going to stop, you're going to jump. You're going to out and out. Be deliberate. You don't need to be a knucklehead here. Slowly and surely, just get through it. You're not going to win the obstacle course by doing this absurdly fast. You're going to win it by moving fastly in between events. Looking great, 2-5. Team 26, while I say that, he's over on the 6th vault. They just got to the inverted wall. All right, now we're on the tough one. Team 11, best hair in the competition. That has to count for something. You know, I was talking about that earlier. We should have a grit award, right? That Team 12, the fact that they were able to start the foot march on day 1 10 minutes late and then still finish 14th place, like that's a grid award. Best flow, and I don't just mean like flow as in their movement between between transition between events. I mean flow of hair. I agree. I think Team 11 has got to be the dominant winners right now. Best flow of their hair, without a doubt. Like you're spot on with that comment. My knees hurt just watching these men. Awesome job to all teams. If it makes your knees feel any better, although the gravel is like sandpit and slows you down, the gravel is very comfortable in knees. Like as you move through that gravel, you're like, oh, that feels better. Opposed to the concrete. When they do these night foot marches or night movements, the road march actually is probably the worst when you get to the concrete roads. Although it's, you're moving fastest, there is no give to that concrete and it just destroys your knees. Whereas the gravel roads, the grass, much better. Now, last night, night orienteering, they just had the worst night of their lives. I've had 3 of those nights, and every night was just as bad. There was no better night. You are 45 miles in your body. You're physically destroyed. You're moving there at 15 to 20. You're no longer walking on trails. You're moving through the wood line. So you're getting stuck in ravines, rivers, creeks, which is different from a creek, as I've learned. Yeah, absolutely terrible. And so then you do all this, take it 12 to 15 miles, maybe gain a couple points in the competition. And then, you think you're feeling better. You have to go right into day 3 and do your last 6 events. So it destroys your body. Just watching Team 42 do obstacles. Move off the obstacle course. Definitely comes down to facilitator. I'll talk to you about this as a competitor. When you're a competitor week, there is no reason to be at competitor week to be a jerk to other teams or to like play secrets. What's something we would do, whether it was Hawaii, the Old Guard, or 3rd Infantry Division, we would talk to other teammates during competitive week. We would go over techniques. Like, oh, you do that? No way. I do this, blah, blah, blah. Additionally, like talk to your ranger instructors, build relationships with them. I can't tell you how many times that myself, Jimmy Pierce, Brandon Matson, Jeremy Gilbert, Mark Gaudette, like we knew individual cadre or if we didn't know them, they knew sergeant, squad leader, captain, platoon leader in our companies or something. We would tell stories. We'd make fun of each other. You would have that give and go as far as commentary back and forth. And you actually get to learn people, learn about their families, learn about who they are. And I say that because sometimes you'll get to events and you see like, oh, Sergeant Smith, what's going on, my friend? And you see the glow of their face come when you get up there, like, hey, what's going on? How are you, Team 10, Team 46, or whatever? And that could be a benefit, like psychologically, because sometimes they'll then turn on as far as facilitating, like, hey, sir, ma'am, whatever. You can't start the next obstacle until whatever. Hey, sir, like, you gotta use your hands on this one. And like, they almost are competing with you, and they're like a second coach. So I say that because be a good person. If you're a good person, you treat people with respect and dignity, that can pay off dividends for small things like this when you come to an obstacle course or a technical lane when you're being graded. It also maybe makes it easier when you're doing like 1 or 2 reclamas that are appropriate, you have a great attitude, you explain it very clearly what your issue is. And more times than not, you're going to get the benefit of the doubt, and you're going to get the redo, or you're going to get the result that you're hoping for. Maybe it was an additional 2 minutes taken away from the time or something silly. So there is a human component to this competition. Not everything is robotic and very left, right. As much as we make it in this competition, there's kind of, all right, here we go. Let's see the slack come out. Oh, the slack came out. Oh, I love it. All right, Team 25 coming through. Getting that last bit of tape right there. Good tape touch. There we go. Way to hit that log. Here we go. Come on. Got to grind out. Push each other. Literally. Come on. Figuratively. Push one another. All right, we're going to let 25 go. And we are going to push back to 26. 26 has one of my former cadets, Camarello. See, that's what I tell people. They think that just because they get to the Army, 1.1 million people, thankfully they never have to see their old instructors or people again. But even with 1.1 million, the Army is a very small place. And you get to see some of your old favorite Ranger instructors, squad leaders, whatever, throughout the Army. So that's why I say the good rule of thumb, be a good dude. Be a good human. Very good human. Ready to run people again. Yeah, Cam, get that breath under your guy. High step over, kid. Man, look at all these former winners here. We got Coach Santiago here. We have Honor, Ranger Hall of Famer, Jerry Klein. Jerry Klein's one of the most feared command sergeant major of all time in Ranger Regiment. People see him, they shake. There he is, Command Sergeant Major Jerry Klein, talking to former winner Santiago, 5-time competitor. Command Sergeant Major Jerry Klein, still at his age, puts the fear of God in people. Love it. Here we go, Cam. Way to get that heart rate. Way to breathe, kid. RP. Yeah, good wood use. Lay down that wood, kid. Lay it down. That's right. Low belly over. Go Team 10. When are you starting the Krilling Range stream? So Krilling Range is being led by Kobe Cochran. I believe he's already over there at the range. If it's not already, I think it probably is occurring now as far as the live stream. So we have 3 lives going right now. We have the Prusik Rappel. So if you want to focus on that first part of this event, you jump over to me to watch the obstacle course lane. And then you jump over to Kobe Cochran to watch Krilling Range, where they shoot the 4 base. So Coach Santiago, former winner, 5-time finisher, pushing his 25th ID team down the grind. Come on. Coach Santiago and Coach Rolfies are the guys that know every small little technique, and they're always pushing their dudes to do exactly that.
There you go, Graham.
The stream isn't live, it's populated but not live, okay? If it's not live, that means they're probably still moving the teams, getting them ready over there. I don't think the stream will actually go live until they're ready to shoot, right? We don't want to kill you with an hour of people sitting around action, whether it's our battery life or just your life sitting there.
You're good. Run.
There we go. Hey, if you didn't get behind him, push him. Cam, accept that help, kid. You got to burn it down now, Cam. Get behind Cam and push him if you need to. There it is. That's what we need to see. This is what I've been talking about and waiting for all day. That's it. That's exactly what you need to do. Come on. I tell teams this all the gosh darn time, but people don't want to do it. We got some humility problems, right? It is absolutely okay to get behind your partner and physically push them, especially when you're feeling good as a partner. The whole point of this competition is you're not doing it alone. You're a buddy. So certain times you're going to have strength, certain times you're going to have weaknesses. 60 miles are on your body. You're not going to be able to move at that same pace. If you're on a stronger partner, get behind your partner, buddy, push them. That 10 to 15 seconds you're going to gain is what is going to win you this competition and win certain events. Okay. I'm finished now. So once again, this is the 7th and 8th place teams finishing this event. We're at the halfway point. Look at that right there. That is somebody who just went 100%, 110% and then some. Love to see it. So as we're seeing, because the first and second place teams went first, they're progressively getting slower throughout the day, and this trend will continue to the 9th to 16th place teams. Part of it is because 60 miles in your body, and if you're still performing at the top of the field, that means your body can recover faster, perform better. Teams that are in like that 16th to 9th place, bodies may not be rebounding as fast. You also may not be running events. You're just happy to be here. You're just trying to grind through them. You're trying to get to the finish line. So there's a different mentality approach. First-time competitors, very hard to win. It is doable. But like an initial goal, you want to have very smart goals, right? Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and there's a time to it. Your goal should be, we are going to finish the competition. What does that mean? You're going to take top 16. And then a second goal is we're going to take top 10. And then, the third goal is we're going to win the competition. That's a first-time competitor. Second or third-time competitor, we're going to win. That's your goal. Like, you're not even thinking about finishing. Finishing is going to happen. It's now, how are we going to perform when it comes to game day? So here is a great example. Team 26, we just watched Camarello, took 33rd place last year, missed the cut into day 2 by 7 places. Disappointing, very frustrating, because you do all that work and you don't even make it into day 2. But guess what happens? He doesn't sulk about it. He doesn't cry about it. He's resilient, finds another partner who's also wants to compete as well, takes that experience and lessons learned from not completing, getting to the second day, applies those lessons learned to the second time competing, and here they are now, Team 26, 8th place, grinding it out, trying to get into top 5. Realistically, watching the teams, 8th place team, probably the best they can do is 6th, probably the worst they can do is 10th. So that experience factor is huge. So Camarello now, 33rd place, didn't finish last year, is here in 8th place on day 3 a year later. Experience is a huge factor to this competition, because you understand how to train properly, you understand where you make mistakes, and then you can turn it on in the training process and your programming for physical skills, tactical skills, shooting, and then actual far endurance, and the technical lanes that come with it too. All right, let's get on some comments while we're in this transition time. We live, baby. Thanks, makes sense. Let's go. These Rangers need some Black Rifle coffee. Speaking of supporters, I have to absolutely thank the supporting team of Tech-In Electronics. Tech-In is providing us the Wi-Fi mesh network that is enabling us to have a Wi-Fi network out here between Harmony Church and Kelly Hill. Tech-In has a setup here at the Warrior Training Center, which enables us to stream on Wi-Fi for the Prusik Tower, and in addition allows us to stream live during the obstacle courses. Over at Curling Range, we also have great enablers and supporters of Tech-In Electronics who are at Curling Range. That's going to enable us to stream the Curling Range at a great rate with Wi-Fi connections as well. It's a big deal, because sometimes out in these military reservations, you are out in the boonies, you're going to get almost no cell phone coverage, hence why we're oftentimes using actual radios, Motorola's, to communicate any kind of range request. So thank you to Tech-In. I think Team 36 is first time, aren't they? Is the team? Yes, sorry. I was confused by that question. Team 36, it is their first time. Now, there are caveats, exceptions to every one of those rules, right? So what I will tell you is, especially since we've wound down the war on terror, before Ranger Regiment teams, they would have teams that would finish, but they weren't winning. They were taking like top 5, which is outstanding. As we've wound down that war on terror, our focus has been about winning. And now you're seeing Ranger Regiment going all in every single year. To include, there used to be a time where officers were not allowed to compete in this competition from Ranger Regiment. Now they're allowed to compete as well from this competition. So Ranger Regiment goes all in on this. Last year, I think we saw them sweep like the top 5. I just saw at the best mortar competition this week during Infantry Week. They swept the mortar competition first, second, third, as they should. Ranger Regiment has some of our best soldiers and leaders in the United States Army. They go by the Abrams Charter, and their goal is to win our nation's wars, right? So part of that is coming to these competitions. These competitions drive excellence. So one of the reasons we have them, besides showing off and showing the different techniques and things we're doing, we are challenging ourselves, making ourselves better as armed forces, and then we're driving each other to be better. What that translates to is when we go to war to protect our nation, we're going to be able to physically perform in a demanding environment that's not going to have a task condition standard, but it's going to be a two-way range, meaning bad guys are going to be shooting at you too, trying to defeat you. So that's something to understand. And what Ranger Regiment has been changing up to is we're going to go now and win this competition. That is their goal. So teams like Team 36, they have an excellent set of coaches, from physical nutritionists, rehab individuals, physical programmers who've been in this competition for the last 15 years. I've been involved in it for 11 years, so they've been longer than me. They know exactly how to train every individual event. They keep a Rolodex of all this information, just like I do as well. They have about 4 years on me, and they can tell you every way that you can efficiency an event. I'm not saying cut corners. I mean literally efficiency. You are going to put the poncho left here on the right. You're then going to snap the buttons. That's the kind of level of detail that they're performing. And on top of it, because they are professionals, They know what it means to train. Like when I tell you to go train an event, they are training it over and over and over ad nauseum. Sometimes us in the active duty army, we'll do it 2 or 3 times. We'll call it good. That's not good enough. This is what I love about this competition. Whether you are a junior enlisted, non-commissioned officer, once you train up, especially in technical aspect, you know what good training looks like. When we are doing an event, we're going to do it 30 times. And then when we're good at it, now we're going to do it when it's limited visibility and we can't see. Now we're going to do it when we have our night vision goggles on, and we're going to have to do the same thing. So you are constantly raising the bar. We're never satisfied with where we are. We are always trying to beat ourselves. And that's something that Ranger Regiment does so well. Because they have all these different events they train up on, what they do is they keep all of their logs and historical times, right? So here's the record for all the weapons assembly. Here's the same record for weapons assembly under limited visibility. Here's the record for a Prusa climb up a 60-foot tower. And so they have actually a metric to look at when you're training that if we hit this time, we know we're probably going to be top 2 on this event. And so that mentality, that historical log that Ranger Regiment has, really enables and makes them the exception to the rule where they do have an opportunity. If you're a Ranger Regiment team, you're going to compete and you're going to compete to win. So to answer that question, very long-winded, you're right. Team 36 is absolutely the first time. Just tuning in, have the top 5 teams already come through the obstacle course? Short answer, yes. Long answer, since 2012, since I've been around this competition, day 3 starts, they go to the first place team, they say, hey, first team, you guys are in first place. Would you like to go first or would you like to go last? Ever since 2012, it's been the exact same script. The first place team says, thank you very much, but we'll go last. We're actually going to take a sleep for about 3 to 4 hours until we have to go. That way we get some more recovery time before we go. That's just standard. That's what's always happened. Guess what happened this year? Team 36 looking around, they're like, nah, dog, we're going to burn the ships. So when I say burn the ships, they meant like we feel good. We just got done with night orienteering. As we look at our partners to the left and right, our bodies, we're moving a lot better. We don't have a funky gait. Our ankles aren't messed up. Our hips aren't messed up. So you know what? We're going to go right into it. Like, send it. So they chose to go first this year. First time since I've seen it since 2012. I can't even tell you when the last time this happened, where the first place team was like, we're going to go first. What that does is it can really put a crusher on Team 32, an older team, because they expect that, okay, good, we'll have like 3 hours off before we go. Instead, they're going within an hour of the start of the day. So that gives them less recovery time and gives them less the ability to bounce back in an event like this. Meanwhile, teams like 36, 10, 56, who still are moving very well, probably can run a 7-minute mile right now after already having 60 miles in their body. Oh, by the way, they're running in uniform and boots. They're able to absolutely crush the competition. As we've seen on this event, winning is coming down to not getting a penalty on the Prusik, and then also just destroying the obstacle course by running faster between events. So you've seen the pace here. 36, 56 has absolutely just smoked it in the running aspect. Hope that answered your question, Airborne Infantryman. How's Team 56 and 42 doing? 42. Oh, Whitney. Yeah, sorry. I'm like, how do I know 42? Team 42, home team, Airborne Ranger Training Brigade, Team 42, Sergeant Whitney, and his partner Navarro. They moved well. The actual thing that worked out well for them is they ended up running on the grass and wood planks in between obstacle courses, which made them run faster. Team 56, I think, I didn't have the clock on, but from just moving and running with them, I actually was definitely more gassed with 56 than 36. I think 56 might have beaten 36 in this individual event. But if you are tuning in, I mentioned earlier, 36 has this so locked up. The only way they could possibly drop down from first to second place is if they basically take last place in every single event today. If they do that, then they would drop maybe to second place. That's Team 36, right? How's Team 25? Well, you just streamed in. We just did Team 25 and 26. 26 caught up all the way to 25. Yeah, 23. Here we go, boys. Looking good. This is where it's won right here, boys, on the run. The running between the different obstacles. Come on. All this time, 7th ID is coming from the run. Good work. They're going so fast. Oh, man. The heart rate's going up. God dang it. I think I had some recovery time there. They're pushing the pace. I'm moving. We're moving. Team 32 just went. They went very slow. Speaks to the recovery time, being a little bit older, but hopefully they just light it up on curling range. And they'll help them out. Oh, 7:18, team 23. Oh, got me tired. All right, here we go. Skyscraper, team 23, representing the 7th Infantry Division, Fort Lewis, Washington. This week has been really good weather-wise for them. It's been a very nice cool breeze, cloud cover. Humidity has been up a little bit, but nothing they can't handle. And obviously the training program's put them in a great position to be finishing here and doing great and looking awesome on this course. Yeah. Yeah, way to send it. There it is. Send it. One of my favorite Army things to say. Send it. All gas, no brakes has become one of my next favorite one. Yeah, family support. 7th ID coming out, much like Team 32. Yeah, Team 32 actually just went about 15 minutes ago on the stream. There was a deliberate difference between them and other teams. They were going very slow. Here we go. Off place. Very challenging event right here. This is one of the obstacles that you can fail when you get to that second log. What's this time? No. I don't know. Oh no. Oh no. Dang. All right. So it's tough. Failed the obstacle, the bouncing logs. So because they failed the bouncing logs, that's a 5-minute penalty added to their overall time. So because they just lost that, that's going to destroy Team 23 on this event. That's going to put them towards the bottom of this event. The first team we've seen fail the obstacle course. So this is our 9th and 10th place teams. This is our other Ranger Regiment team. They're in 10th place. So that's the first obstacle we've seen a team fail. So you add that 2 to 5 minutes of final time. Point being, if you're a coach here, you're telling your guys, hey, you're going to catch up on that team. This is why I always go to golf when we get to that balancing log, because you got 60 miles in your body, you have blisters, your body is crushed. The balancing log ain't that easy. You can't just attack it like you do in training. That one you deliberately have to hit. For this event, it's really range. Really range shooting. Team 37. Boy, you can tell the log is hurting them there. They got more blisters than they're expecting from before. It makes this event that much harder when your feet are just crushed. I never sleep on the balancing log. This is an event when I train. I'll hit it 4 or 5 times when I'm practicing because I want to hit it when I'm comfortable. So when you are destroyed after 60 miles, even though it might take a little bit more time, you can hit it with no penalties. When you hit no penalties, you can then dominate this event. Just get through it nice and easy, and then burn down the ships by running in between events. He's going this side technique, the shuffle. That just tells you that his feet are probably hurting a little bit, and it's a more stable technique. It's just it's a lot slower to get going. But who cares when you can run? All right, here we go. Now we get loud again. Team 37, this is your second Range Regiment team. I believe they're in 10th place. Notice they also got the word from their coaches that you can burn through across the grass. That's what we're seeing them do. Right to the low belly over, belly buster. That gravel pushes you. Also notice that he's running out of the wood. It's well within the spirit of the rule of the competition. Not shortening the distances, moving on the grass or on the wood planks that guardrail the course itself. It's called hip hip. Hip hip is a no hands event. I tell everybody when you complete the hip hip, a bonus 50 points. You have to say hip hip hooray. If they're in a good mood, they'll smile and laugh at me. If they're in a bad mood, they'll stare me down and tell me, please go away and never talk to me again. So you just got to catch them in the right mood. I think if I told 37 that, they would tell me to drop into push-ups. So I think we won't give it to them. Reading off their vibes right now. Curling Range is live. So everybody, if you want to go jump over to Curling Range for a live stream, Team 32 and Team 10 will be going first over there. So you can watch them shoot. They're going to shoot one team at a time. Curling Range, the biggest thing you want to watch Curling Range for is you want to watch Team 32. They're going to be a sixth place team over there competing in it. It's going to be one of the most fun ranges to watch, to see the standard of how we want every soldier in the Army to shoot. And that's what you should be tuning into. I know you might have a loved one here. You can always rewatch it when it's playing again. But seriously, go watch Team 32 live as they dominate Curling Range. What's after event number 2? So today's recap and day of events. We have the Prusik rappel into this Warrior Training Center obstacle course. Then they get transported via trucks over to Curling Range. Curling Range is near Todd Field and out towards Airborne Ranger Training Brigade. That range is owned by the Army Marksmanship Unit. Technically the best shooters in our Army, right? Then they get driven over to Todd Field HLZ, where they are going to conduct a poncho raft for time. So that event is completely won on who's able to properly put their poncho raft together. If you do it about a minute 30, that's where most of your time is, because the second set of time is coming from the swim. We have 2 rucksacks that weigh 50 pounds, and in a poncho, you're probably going to swim all about the same pace. So winning comes from who can construct that poncho fastest. Next event is the combat water survival assessment. One of the most fun lanes to watch. That's where they run over the balancing beams, go over the stairs, jump over onto the rope, and flying squirrel it across, touch the ranger tab, come down, and then do zip lines. This year it is different. So the old traditional finish line is in front of the crowd. This year, they have to actually continue to run another half mile towards Babbitt HLZ. So what does that mean? The team who can run faster is going to win the combat water survival system. After that, they're chilling until they come to they're going to get driven to Winsec. Winsec is a school we have here in Fort Benning. They're going to stand by for the start of the final buddy team run. Final buddy run is 2.5 miles. They final buddy run and they finish at the National Infantry Museum. If you're out here watching the digital space and you're nearby, you need to come to the finish line for the National Infantry Museum, just because it's one of the coolest moments, most American you'll ever feel, as far as people being at their pinnacle best, finishing a grueling competition. And that'll happen at the National Infantry Museum today with a finish time of approximately 2:30. So get out there. We're at today. I'm only seeing one live stream on YouTube. I think if you back out of the YouTube, go to the live tab And if you scroll up and down, you should see a little red circle that tells you that we're recording. So we should have one recording over by the rappel tower. We should have one recording me, and then you should have one curling recording. 3 live right now. Just type Best Ranger Competition 2023. Thanks, Cindy. Look at that. We'd help each other out, team. This is Team 37, our second Ranger Regiment team. I believe this is the 9-10 team. After night orienteering, as mentioned before many times, it gets a lot more deliberate, a lot slower. Team 23 is out there by the Weaver. They were the first team to fail an obstacle today. That opened up over at the easy balancer, not the easy balancer, the log balancer. Penalty assessed, I believe, is 2 to 5 minutes added to your overall finishing time. So that's a pretty devastating penalty. Hence why when you compete, any competition here at Best Ranger, when there's a obstacle course, you want to be clean, as in no penalties, do the obstacle exactly right, how it's supposed to be done, and then focusing on speed and time in between events. That's where you win everything. Mantra is clean, fast. Clean, fast. So you got to be deliberate when you go over an obstacle. You want to be fast when you're running in between obstacles. Worst thing you can do is to buy yourself 2 or 3 penalties. Now, it doesn't matter how fast you win. You've just given the opportunity for other teams to beat you. If they even just walk through it. Move over to back real quick. We just hit the 10% battery life on the old phone. Confidence climb, I'd say is about 3 stories, about 30 feet. Very fun. It's funny when you see these rangers going through and flying through this obstacle, but then you go through with maybe soldiers who haven't done something like this before, and the mentality difference of how rangers are attacking it, and it's just another day, right? Like, oh yeah, this is fun. This is what we do. From maybe a person who's never done it before, how they take 10 minutes to do it, and that comes from training, like training yourself to do something like this, to do hard things and push yourself. And that definitely is a difference between what a ranger does. As a ranger is comfortable pushing themselves beyond their limits, whatever that limit is. Yeah, they're gonna figure it out, and they're gonna push it. All right, we charge them with the battery now. We're gonna finish these last 6 teams, 11 through 16th place, and then Blaine Reeves and I in the live stream are gonna bounce over to the Helo cast. We might miss the first 2 teams that go through. It's just part of the beast. We're gonna be able to get more recording here and helping future competitors improve their technique. Competitors right now who are competing, when they're going to watch this in the past, they're going to see how they did on their individual event. Want to give them that opportunity. Helocast is very difficult to film to make it like exciting, just because a majority of that event comes on the ground and how fast they prepare their poncho raft. So can't record that because that's going to be done at another location at the Todd Field HLZ. All right, this is the Weaver. I've mentioned this before. This Weaver and the one at Darby Queen, they are log, rectangular logs. Whereas in other locations, the Weaver is cylindrical logs. So cylindrical logs, the high step over. They are authorizing hands now. Ranger instructor facilitator here says that you are authorized to use your hands. Have to read the DAPM Army regulation. I think hip and high step over technically are no hands, but literally just have to type it in DAPM for the obstacle course to identify it. These obstacle courses, the coolest thing about them and about the Army, they're standardized. You could place these at any Army installation. Fort Lee, Fort Myer. Really, the only thing you need is you need the space. You need individuals who are accepting of the prudent risk that soldiers might go do this on their own. Problem with that is you get a soldier who maybe had too much fun one night and decides a good idea is to go run the obstacle course, and they do a low belly over and get a concussion. But these are risks you got to take, right? Nice, 37. Good, easy balance. Well done. So now right into the commando crawl. Coach over here, being an excellent motivator. They're using course. All you gotta do is touch the tape clearly. All right. Push your partner, boys. Come on, 3-7. Chase him down. So this might be something, right? The slower partner might be the first one. And so now he's putting pressure on that second partner who might be the faster one aerobically. And so that gives him a target for somebody to catch up to. So that's a good technique that can be used for this event. Time will stop when both competitors cross that finish line. Yeah, 3-7. Good grip, baby. Good work. Head up. Little uphill, then 30 yards. Come on. Come on. Foul push. Take it to the sidewalk here and foul push. Time stops now. Yeah, 3-7. All right. So that was Team 37. That was your second Ranger Regiment team to complete the Warrior Training Center Pursuit Rappel obstacle course. As we've commented and talked about the whole day, teams have gone progressively slower throughout the day. Team 36 has likely won the competition. After that, it's going to be races between second to fifth place, fifth to like eighth, seventh to 10th, ninth to 12th, and so on. You're not going to be able to move much on this last day because there are only 16 teams left. What we saw there, though, was 37 from Range Regiment. They had no penalties in the obstacle course, whereas Team 23 did. So Team 23 is going to be hit with a 2 to 5 minute penalty added to their overall time. So that means 37 just alone is going to be able to have a faster time than them. So if Team 37 is behind Team 23, they're going to be able to beat them and at least increase their standing after this one event. All right, here we go. Team 46.
Hey, Joe, get up there.
Yeah, 46. 46, making it to Allen Hopper. Allen Hopper, you do not need to crush yourself. Just do it right. Sometimes Allen Hopper, you're flowing, and then you realize, oh no, I'm stuck. Then you got to do a bit of a tricky jump, but they're all down smooth. Let's go, Tan Dan. Come on, 4-6. Let's go, Team 10. Team 10 is the second place team. They're over on the live stream right now in Curling Range. So if you are wanting to watch Team 10, jump over to a different live stream that says Curling Range, K-R-I-L-I-N-G. Team 10 is about to shoot, or is shooting right now, in the Curling Range live stream. So love them. Go watch them over there. Germany representing Team 10. Well done. Come on, Tan Dan. Here we are, Team 46. Caught them in the middle of their race. They have Team 19 directly behind them. So Team 46 running on the tough one. And then you got Team 19 directly behind them. They just crushed the swing rope stop. They're now doing the island hopper. Island hopper, they're going through smoothly. And through. Yay, Team 37. Go, Justin!
Come on.
All right, we're going to pause here because we got the second team catching up. Let's go, 1-9. Team 19. I'm going to plug this again. Soldiers out there who want to do any kind of school, learn how to climb a rope. The climb is called the lock. Look it up, the Department of Physical Education. They have every technique that you can use ever to properly climb the rope. The lock is the best technical way to climb a rope because it puts no stress on your upper body, it makes it focus about the legs, and very easy to climb. If you learn how to do the lock after about 5 minutes, forever in your life, you'll be able to do that climb. Next would be the grapevine, next would be the pinch, the cinch, and then the final, last one would be the all hands. I do not think you should ever do an all hands climb unless you are just doing it for funsies or trying to challenge somebody to it. Reason being, for any course like air assault school or ranger school, if you want to be able to come here and put your ring in the hat and hat in the ring for something, you have to be able to climb a rope. Climb a rope. And if you climb a rope effectively and efficiently, then guess what? Go learn how to climb one. It'll make all the difference. You'll be thanking me when you get off a rope and you're like, oh, that was easy. And you see competitors or peers who are like, that was the worst rope climb ever. Like, no, it's a rope. The cargo net, same thing here, the cargo net. You use one rope to be your center point and treat it like a ladder. That's how you make sure that you are stable during any kind of cargo net. All right, Team 19 is about to hit the confidence climb. Confidence climb. Going all the way up to the top. You're going to just jump over the second to last log, and then you will come right back down. Obviously, you want to be on opposite sides, so you're not stepping on each other's feet, right? Like that. Good. That was a good partner. You recognized it. You pushed over to the side. 3 points of contact, and working safe down. Look at this team support for Team 19. Oh my gosh. Team 19, they showed out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Wow. 101st Airborne Division. They don't joke around. When they say something's important, the physical presence here for Team 19, Team 23, Team 32, awesome. Awesome to see. All right, we're now getting that Fort Lewis, Washington State weather. They got a drop in temperature. I can feel it. It got a little chilly. There's a slight breeze, and then it's that misty rain. It's that misty rain where like you'd have like your nice north face. If you're from the Washington Pacific area, you get it. Like you have a nice north face that's like the going out north face, and then you have a north face that's like kind of the crap one for really bad weather. So we're getting that slight misty Fort Lewisy weather, which honestly feels wonderful as a competitor. As a person watching, you just get a little bit chilly. I think I heard Blaine Raves call it liquid sunshine. Is the proper terminology for what we're feeling, but it's like a very misty liquid sunshine that we got. All right, this is Team 19 representing the 101st Airborne Division. Looking great. Good rhythm, good rhyme, as Bud said time. It's actually Weaver time. There we go. Nice. He very quickly asked his facilitator, hands or no hands? The facilitator said, no hands. So back, know your rules. But at the same time, just like they did, sometimes you need to communicate. Sometimes you can over communicate and put yourself in a position that you didn't realize. So they clearly communicated. The ranger instructor clearly communicated back, you will use no hands for the high step over. In future, though, if you're ever on an obstacle course by yourself and you see the high step over the hip hip, those are indeed no hands. If you are going to the 6 vault, you are vaulting, just like a vault in gymnastics. Yeah, you're going to vault over um, using your hands. Good work, kid. Atta, babe. Here we go. Low belly over, baby. Notice they've all adopted the technique now. They are running on the wood planks. But even though that gives them an advantage because they are towards like the lower tier of competitors, it's probably not going to put them in a position where they're going to win just because they are moving a little faster. Easy balance is always an event. I'd say don't sleep on either. Like, there's no reason to get a penalty for falling on something like that. Sorry, because my cord is attached to the battery, occasionally it'll make the cameras a little bit uneasier. You're going to commando crawl all the way to the tape. Once they get to that tape, they can drop, which then puts a lot of slack out of the rope. Ooh, we almost had a mini Blanchard there. There's Jamie Blanchard watching. Her wonderful husband last year was doing the exact same thing, and his partner came off the rope, and a lot of slack came out, and I heard Mr. Blanchard get, oh. Apparently he hurt his groin a little bit. Here we go. Time to grind it out. All gas, no brakes. Lose the 11th and 12th place teams. One nice thing about going kind of middle of the pack and something like this is they get the flow down from a facilitating training perspective of this event. So it's constantly moving. Additionally, your coaches or spectators, they might have seen 1, 2, 3 teams already run through. They can kind of help communicate and tell you very deliberately, hey, do X, Y, Z. Last push. Come on, 1-9. Good. They're telling the Miles, push, beat your partner. Beat your partner, Miles. Catch him.
Push it, Miles. Push. Last 100. Let's go. Last 100. Let's go.
All the way through. Finish. Team 19 to finish. Boom, right to the ground. Look at that. Love to see it. Yes. Yes. That is pure grit, heart, determination. Highlighted for you right there. They have 60 miles in their body, and they just grinded through a Prusik, rappel, and a nasty obstacle course a lot longer this year. That was Team 19, and the team right before them, Team 23. Both outstanding crowd support, representing 101st Airborne Division and the 7th Infantry Division, respectively. All right, let's bounce back. So now we're going to see the 13th and 14th place teams competing against each other head-to-head. Kid just fell down. He got right back up, though. He's fine. If you got any questions before these last 2 teams, make sure you send them. Myself and Blaine Reams are going to bounce over to HeloCast and the CWSA, the Combat Water Survival Assessment. Right now, the live stream for curling is going on. Curling will be your heaviest weighted event today, is my assumption. I don't know. Usually, curling range is just because you have so many cool shooting events. I'd say it's one of the best shooting events to watch. Team 32 is probably going to be shooting right about nowish. I would highly recommend, if you are somebody who likes to watch people shoot, watch Team 32 shoot. One of the coolest things you'll ever see. Obviously, if you have a loved one that's still about to go in these last 4 teams, stick it here. Make sure you watch them. But Team 32 on curling range is going to make this whole competition worth it for anybody watching. And that'll be Kobe Cochran over there filming for us, live streaming, commentating. Today's a lot easier of a day to react with the chat just because we're moving very simply back and forth, whereas previous days we are grinding, 56 different teams, so it makes it more difficult to engage with. All right, but we're at chill point right now. There's no more teams on the course. We got the 13th and 14th team coming up. 4 teams left here. From here, they go to curling range. Curling range, they go to Todd Field where they're going to construct a poncho raft. You win that competition, that event, by constructing the fastest poncho raft. From there, you're going to, you know what? We have some time right now. All right, yeah, let's do this. Hey, let's do a quick little test. All right. So I'm just going to do a little test here. Turn off zeros on the clock. All right, we're going to stop when we touch the wood. Ready? Go. So that was 11 seconds to get to the logs over here. So 11 seconds was the first iteration for us to go from the end of this obstacle to the logs. So we're doing a little experiment here. What's it called? Not Sokotoa. Sokotoa is something to do with geometry. It's like an experiment method, right? Hypotheses, so forth. All right, we'll start from the same point. This time I'll be recovered. Heart rate's down. There we go. I'm gonna start the clock. When I do, same rule applies until I touch the wood. Nine seconds. So there's 9 seconds to go in kind of the concrete barrier that's over here, opposed to running on the gravel. It's about 2 to 3 seconds faster. So if you do that, cumulative over time, it definitely will be a little bit faster, but obviously you gotta be moving out. All right, let's do our last little test here. We will run on just the grass. Concrete slab is actually a little bit hard to run on just because you're focusing on balancing so much. All right, let's get the heart rate down. Go. Eight seconds. So, yeah, there you go. I mean, we already knew the answer, but good to test the hypotheses. If you were to have moved the entire obstacle course just to the right or left on the grass, you were going to move deliberately faster over time, right? Especially when this event takes about 15 to 20 minutes for teams. It'll be a huge help opposed to getting stuck in the grind of the gravel. Spirit of the rule competition. We don't want you cutting distance, but if you're going to go the same amount of distance and you choose to go in different terrain, yeah, it makes sense. Does anyone know what teams are still in it? Yes, everyone does know, Rochelle. So if you go to the Facebook page, specifically the Airborne Ranger and Training Brigade, they posted standings usually about 3 hours after whatever last event. So they posted the most recent standings specific to after night orienteering. So you'll see teams first, the 28th place. They showed you that because only 28 teams did night orienteering. Today, only the top 16 teams will advance to day 3. So if you're looking for a team to know if they're still in the competition, they will be in the competition if they're either in first place to 16th place. Team 17 to 28 were dropped for the competition just because we only want 16 teams finishing. It helps throughput and makes day 3 go much faster. So that's how you'll know who's still in the competition. So if you're going to want to get more action, then definitely head over to curling range. You're going to see some great shooters. If you are though waiting for the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th place teams, I'll stay here. I'll stay here. Yeah. All right, National Guard team, team 47. So the live stream for the rappelling or Prusik and rappelling has now been switched just to me primarily. So you're watching National Guard. You're going to get me over here for the Prusik rappel, additionally for the obstacle course. Coach Bobby Orr, well done. Another Regiment coach to the National Guard. Tell them to take off their ish. Helmets off, harness off. Take it off. Take that ish off. You don't want to nod. It's an overtime aggregate, nothing fun.
Let's go, boys.
Get that ish off. Oh, 47. Bring down the ships here. Come on. All right, Team 47 representing the National Guard. This is their home base. This is the home field advantage. Home field advantage. They love the Warrior Training Center. When they come to the Best Ranger competition, this is their spot where they live, they breathe, they train. They'll do this obstacle course, the rappel tower, every single day, multiple times. They're very familiar with it. They know every aspect of the course, contour, obstacles. So C-47 will probably be one of the fastest teams today. Just in the fact of their pure history here, knowing the course, and doing these obstacles. Team 47 is representing the National Guard. National Guard clean swept the international sniper competition this week during Infantry Week. They are now competing and doing very well at the Prusik Rappel obstacle course. They've been assigned the black lane. Getting their heart rate down, following black tape. Great partner work right there. Usually the third level to a skyscraper. So 1, 2, 3. Third level is your most difficult portion to get up the skyscraper. It's about a 8-foot gap between the two. So you either do a partner assist or you do an inverted ankles to the bar. That'll help you get you up and over. Look at this. Team 11. There it is. Best flow right now. We're talking about hair. We're talking about personality. 11 representing 10th Mountain. We got a neck-to-neck race team. Here we go. I would talk to my teammate if they're on this. I don't want any kind of cheering going. It's like when I'm about to swing at baseball or golf. Don't talk about backswing. I kind of want to just focus exactly on this. We're going to have that race here between 47 and 11. 47 representing National Guard. 11 representing 10th Mountain. Club Glory. These are 13, 14 teams. Yeah, well done, 4-7. So there's no more single lanes.
Okay.
So then they'll just be able to pass them.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're good now. But there is like kind of the shadiest part where it would be risky as far as passing, but now they're fine. But that should be the focus. It's like catch, right? This though, take your time, like get through it. Don't get a penalty here. It's Mountain team. Asking for inside information, love it. That's good coaches right there. They're thinking about it. What would happen if we had multiple teams go to that event? Realistically, they'd probably pause them this time. They wouldn't restart it until they were clear to go. Team 47. Crushing the reverse climb. It's a good hip, 4-7. Love it. Love that hip. Good work. It's your turf right here, boys. Good work. Bonus points for the hip parade to end this one. Ranger 4-99 checking in. Hello, great to have you, 499. So love to see. All the way through, baby. Hip, hooray, let's go. To the tunnels. Use that gravity. This is Team 47, representing the National Guard. National Guard had an outstanding showing at the International Sniper Competition. One of their teams ended up winning the competition. Team 47 is one of our National Guard teams here, doing an outstanding job during the 13th, 14th place range. This is the Warrior Training Center. This is the home to National Guard and Reserves when they do any kind of training, whether it's Air Assault School, Pathfinder. So they are extremely comfortable with this obstacle course, and they're moving in between fast. Notice the technique that we learned running on the grass is a couple seconds faster. In the aggregate, that gravel pit will slow you down. Here's the inverted wall. They're using both sides of the inverted wall. Look good, boys. Coach is getting with him. Make sure you're breathing. Telling them that both must go on the left side lane instead of on their back. They're just on their hands and knees. Ask if they can touch the wire. They said absolutely, no issues.
Nice work. Nice work. There you go. Easy work. Good job. Pop off. Go up here. Up here. You're almost there. So.
Looking great, 4-7. Notice the swing, stop, jump. You're going to swing. They're going to stop.
Hold it. Hold it.
Yeah, good swing, stop, jump. Usually I like to reset the rope. Just kind of grab it. Atta babe. Now they're going to do the island hopper. They're going to jump between islands. Each island, this is an interesting factoid, each island of the island hopper represents a different campaign that the Army, United States Army, fought and won within the Pacific Island campaign of World War II. Bet you didn't know that, huh? If you did know that, then that's incredible that you knew that, because I just made that up. That is completely made up, not a real thing. Island hopper was just made by some person who thought it was cool to have people jump like Mario and plays the game Floor is Lava. Actually wasn't a campaign thing. Oh, I tricked you. Yes, sir. I tricked you. It's like April Fool's Day. Got him. Oh, message retracted. Oh, pain. Pain. They don't want the digital shame that comes with that one. That's all right. Sometimes my serious voice can come off too seriously and confidently. I've been told that as a leader, non-commissioned officers let me say, sir, I don't know if you're kidding or being serious. Oftentimes, I don't know either, but it just depends on the moment. 47 looking great, by the way. Very deliberate and smooth for this event. Deliberate and smooth. That Fort Lewis, that Washington State weather is kicking in. It is like misty. It's just a constant, deliberate mist action. Climbing up. Second to last. Yeah. Today we've had a couple of mistakes with that. Almost any confidence climb you go to, it's always second to last. You'll never go over the tippy top, all right? Team 47. Crushing the confidence climb. They're doing a great job moving. Can't start the next obstacle and take part in the finish the last one. So they're doing a good job of getting ahead to the next obstacle and being staged, and then going as soon as the first partner is done. Love that technique. Generally, you'll see in the rules, will say you cannot start the next obstacle until the first obstacle, the prior obstacle has been complete. So your trigger point is who's faster, get through it fast, run to the next obstacle, be on standby. As soon as you see your second partner finish that obstacle, then you start going. That's another efficiency thing. That's how you efficiency eyes this competition. And top teams are always thinking, like, how can we shave off seconds? So just like when we have a rucksack, grams equal ounces, ounces equal pounds. What are ways that we can lighten up our load? They say I have to have a flashlight, have the smallest flashlight with a AA battery, right? If they tell us that this event is going to be won by base overall time, well, then I need to shave off seconds. If I can shave off seconds, those different efficiency seconds that I shave off over time, that's going to turn into minutes on individual events. So it's never just, you did an event, good job. It's okay, we did that well. How can we go even faster? Like, where do we slow down? Where were we hurting? Look in the actual Department of Army pamphlet or Army regulations of the specifics of an event. Like, the confidence climb, I can only go to the second to last confidence climb log. I don't need to ask that question, waste my breath, waste my energy. I just do it, right? Obviously, unless the ranger instructor tells me differently and says, no, go over the top. But still, that's like combat, right? High step over, just like the hip hip, is a no hands event. You are not using your hands. Good job, 4-7. Way to use the no hands. Love it. Mm-hmm. Good hip mobility stretch. That's all it is right here. Come on. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. That a kid. All right. The low belly over. So the dirty name and the low belly over are almost identical, except for low belly over is much easier. The dirty name is called the dirty name because like 50% plus of people are terrible at it. Balance it. Command crawl. You're good, coach. Wait, touch that tape. Oh, looking smooth. That nice straight leg, baby. So what you do ideally here is you have that right leg, that outside leg is nice and straight. Just let it hang. You don't need to work against gravity here. It'll make your body more anatomically set here. All right, burn the ships now. Burn it down. So you can see how 46 is, or 47 is moving. We talked about this in the beginning of the day. Teams are progressively just going to move slower. It's the nature of the competition where you are placing wise. So the first couple teams are flying. Notice the old National Guard person watching. I know Mr. Robert Killian. He would be at this level here. He's like the first partner running. You're only as fast as this guy back here. So Mr. Killian, would run back behind here, get behind his partner, and you'd be physically pushing. Sometimes partners don't like it because they feel, it doesn't make them feel good. They're being pushed. But literally, if you train like this, you practice like that, and you're physically pushing people, you just get used to it. It becomes a natural thing. It will save you seconds, like tens of seconds, by being pushed by your partner, and that might be just enough to beat other teams on this event. 47's got a great showing, people. Killing it. Time's not going to finish until right now. Well done, 4-7. Our last two standings, team 15 and team 16 place teams. I'm going now. Plug in the battery real quick. So, team 47 just there, the National Guard team, they actually got caught up over here by team 11. Team 11 representing 10th Mountain, clearly the winner of the best flow being their hairstyle, just slowed down a ton because team 11 was at the skyscraper finishing it as team 47 was finishing off the 3 balancing logs. So in between that time, 47 is finished, and Team 11 is still only at the Weaver. So it gives you a perspective of probably the pace and the rate that 11 is moving at compared to 47, which is slower. It goes to the home field advantage sometimes of teams. So 47, having trained here, being comfortable with this, knowing this obstacle course like the back of their hand, really crushing it, like absolutely getting after it. So you're getting both sides of this live stream right now. You're getting Team 11 from one side underneath, and then you're getting Team 11 on this outside. Team 11 is definitely moving slower. The faster teams will always say move head first, meaning move down this Weaver, down this way, head down. They are moving legs down. They'll tell you that probably because your torso is heavier, since it's like 70% of your body weight. So as a result, if you have your head facing down, like they'll have something like that and tell you why you have to go under it over. All right. If you want to continue to watch Team 11, you can jump over to the other stream. It probably says like Rappel Tower, because winner of competition like 10 3-playing views is on that other net. All right, let's push over to the last 2 place teams, 15th and 16th place teams. All right, let's get over to the 15th and 16th place teams. So we have one of our teams that just came off the Rappel Tower in the Prusik. They have a great family team moving with you. Oh, I'll tell you, this brings me back so many memories. When you are on this last day of finishing, and you have like your aunts, your uncles, your parents, your loved ones, your soldiers, whatever, and they're next to you yelling at you on the third day after you move 60 miles, you move surprisingly fast. Here we go. So here we have one of our United States Army Special Operations Command teams. 15th/16th place team, Team 34. I've seen a lot of love for Team 34 representing the United States Army Special Operations Command. They also have a great showing of family support, loved ones. When you think you're hurting most, and you're back in the light, and you got family members yelling at you to do stuff, guess what? It works. You go faster. Let's go, Team 34. All right, well, listen. They moved up that hill surprisingly fast. Now they're gearing down. Folks in the skyscraper. Ranger instructor giving very clear guidance to them before they even get to it. And they know what to do. As mentioned before, if you already know the answers ahead of time, it makes it easier. And now you're just confirming and denying with the ranger instructor that they agree with that standard. Good to go. So they're only going up the black tape side. Team 34, representing the United States Army Special Operations Command. So now the ranger instructor told them that side, go black side. This is very tricky over at the Derby Queen because you have to follow a set of arrows, and where teams get cut every time is when they come down, they set their feet down on those pads that are at the very bottom of the skyscraper. However, the arrows do not say to do that. The arrows say to go down the side without the silly pads. All right, going up the last fourth floor right there. Now there's going to go same side down. They're doing the inverted ankles to the bar technique. That is a technique. I love doing that one on the way up. On the way down, I just jump down. It helps when you're 6 foot or taller. Here comes team 3. Team 3. Our last team here. Team 3 and team 34 have caught up to each other. All right. Here we come to drop boys. Gotta lock it in.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Oh, they're doing this masterfully.
Green.
Oh, no. 2 more times. Okay, this is the second team who's going to take off. Team 23 is the first team. Take our time. There's no reason to rush. No reason to rush. Take your time, take your time. Reset. Out of the live stream. Take your time. No reason to rush. No reason to get assessed at 2 to 5 minutes. Oh, great recovery. Great recovery. Love it. Love to see it, 3-4. So had they failed that obstacle the second time, they would have been assessed a 2 to 5 minute penalty added overall. Only team that's been assessed that penalty was team 23 thus far. So for 34 to make that recovery, reset, and do it right was the way to go. 2 to 5 minute penalty would have been devastating. Keep pushing, Dan. Family in California is watching. Let's go. Belly buster. We're going to run into the belly buster, meaning your belly. You're going to nail block. And you go. Boom. Boom. Next obstacle, you have to wait until you move your trap. I tell him to make sure they touch the very bottom rung. Touch the bottom on your way down as well. So you go down head first. Perfect. Well done. You're good. You're complete. Events like this are like where you can mess up, right? Where you don't touch the bottom rung when you start. You don't touch the bottom rung when you stop. They had it very similar at the Derby Queen during the down slaughter we just watched. When they fell off and they got back on. There is a yellow painted line. You have to touch the yellow line. Sometimes you jump over it. Well, you didn't touch the yellow line for the standard. Great hip hip. Great hip hip. Good no hands. Love to see it. Dylan, California family says, keep going, my guy. Good work. Come on, hip hip. Bonus points for the hip hip hooray. Here we go. I think they're going to get it. Hip hip. All right, let's go. They did not say it. No bonus points. Very smart. Staying on the grass. Running much faster. Teams that have been staying on the grass have been crushing it compared to teams staying on the gravel. Both going through the tunnels. Pretty much forced bear crawl. Roger that. So back to the point. Listen to what your facilitator says. And if your facilitator tells you one thing, then you better do what your facilitator tells you to do. The 6 vaults. They will be using their hands on the 6 vaults not sure anybody watched the national championships last night in gymnastics. I'm sure most of us did. They were watching, but there were some incredible vaulting skills that were on display. I think the Florida Gators were just edged out in the final event on the all-around floor. Good grind, 3-4. All right. Team 3-4 finishing off. Let's go, Dylan. Okay, so this range instructor made it very clear you are not allowed to touch the wire. That's the point. Understand your facilitator respects their standard for what they're telling you to do. Do exactly what they tell you to do. Here we go. Let's go, 3-4. Their facilitator made it very clear, not touch the wire. Also stay inside the gravity pit the entire time. Ranger instructor just was told that the other team behind us who's not running on the pit will be penalized. Yep. Swing, stop, jump. That looks like a swing, stop, jump if I ever see one. Let's go. Island hopper. This is the event that there's no reason to be a knucklehead and go absurdly faster. Just deliberately get through it. Dylan, your godson. Mattis, he's cheering you on, bud. Let's go. Keep pushing, man. You got this. Great job, 3-4. Let's go, Dylan. Godson Mattis cheering you on. Let's go, Dylan. Go on, 3-4. Team 3 is catching back up. Team 34. Team 34 and Team 3 are now in a mini head-to-head here. These are your 15th and 16th place teams in the competition. Team 3 representing the Big Red Wren, First ID. First ID has not had a team complete, I believe, since 2017, the last year that Mark Gaudette was allowed to compete. Great to see First ID back in the action, showing that even if you're a mechanized infantry unit, you're still going to be a finisher in the best ranger competition. You can do things in big giant vehicles. You can also do things on the ground too with the infantrymen. It's awesome to see. 34 on the left, 3 on the right side. Nice little race we got here. 3 is caught up. 3 is a younger team, younger individuals from First ID. Team 34, far side, is representing the United States Army Special Operations Command. Yep. See, that was great coaching right there. You treat the cargo net like one vertical rope. If you have one vertical rope in front of you, you're using your feet and hands to drive yourself down the cargo net. That's exactly how you do cargo. Here we go. Team 34 about to hit the confidence line. You can start your obstacle as soon as your second partner is completed the other obstacle. So that is the point of making sure you understand the rules to the T ahead of time. That way, less questions you ask to your ranger instructor.
Rhythm.
I have heard you mention past winners, but never Rose, 3-time winner. You're absolutely right. I've not mentioned Mr. Rose because I've physically not seen him present. Generally, I'll give the shout outs to like Josh Rolpe, Santiago, Blaine Reef, just because I physically see them, they come up. That's why I'll say it. But without a doubt, Mr. Rose is the only person who even posts the new rules that you can only compete 3 times, has competed only 3 times and won all 3 times, and will never be allowed to compete again with the new rule of can't compete more than 3 times. But Mr. Rose is absolutely a legend when it comes to this competition. Him, Forciger, his partners, knowing to go to that dark place, kind of just rip people's heads off. It's big time. And Rose can absolutely do that. Last night, these guys put between 12 to 20 miles in their bodies walking through wood lines. It's probably one of the darkest nights you'll have of your life in the sense of emotionally, mentally, physically. You're going from 2000, it's 8 p.m. to 2 to 3 in the morning, just walking through the woods nonstop. It's a star course, so they give you 1 point at a time, so you're walking 1 point at a time. Finished this competition 3 times. Every single time, it's been the worst night of my life. But then thankfully, you start day 3. You have all your family members around, look to your left and right, and it makes your day so much happier. Look at that, talking to spectators, asking, do I go under the tape or over the tape? Love to see it. So I pick up the go bag. After this is over, we're going to head over to different ranges, different events. Got to make sure we got all of our gear so we can make a smoother transition. Go Hammerly. Let's go Hammerly. So you'll see here is team 3 is passing, or getting near passing 34. So that probably speaks to 3 is probably just barely beating over 34. High step over. Ranger instructor says very clearly he wants the hands on the head. It's getting a little bit chippy between fans and that, just because you see one team had their hands on the head, one team didn't. They'll both be kind of yelling at each other, but remember, at the end of the day, we are cheering on our teams. That's our primary focus. Helping them that way. This is low belly over. Well done. Look at that. Both crushing it by one of the sponsoring and supporting, or not correction, enabling and supporting elements of this competition, the Nike boot. Nike boot is awesome here. Light, easy, good traction on different obstacles like this, even when they're slick, and also when your feet get soaking wet, dry out very fast. Big fan, we think, supporting and enabling elements of our Nike boot. Oh. It doesn't matter which way you do the rope. You can go under, you can go over. What does matter is you're not allowed to touch the gravel. It's relatively close. I think the replay would show. Oh my gosh, look at this. Allowing the partner to push and pull. All right, here we go. Let's go finish. Come on. This is team 34. They started just a little bit before team 3. Team 34 finishing now. Mist is picking up. Team 3 coming through, representing Big Red 1, baby. Fort Riley, Kansas. Great job, gentlemen. Let's go 3. Good work, 3. Let's go 3. Good job, Big Red 1. All right, that's going to wrap us up here at the Proof Stick Rappel Warrior Training Center. We're going to bounce forward to the next spot. This should be curling range. Since you're live streaming that, then you should also see the Helocast and CWSA coming up here soon. We'll talk to y'all later. See ya.